You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the beautiful Buttonveers Cricket Complex here in Atlanta, Georgia. We're here for minor league cricket on this Labor Day weekend. A lot of minor league cricket coming at you, a total of 38 matches, and we appreciate you taking some time out of your day to come join us here this morning. Good morning to all of you guys tuning in. I'm Om Patel here in this 2023 Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, and today we have a matchup between the Atlanta Fire and the Fort Lauderdale Lions, two teams with two very different results yesterday. The Atlanta Fire, they win in a real dominant fashion. The scorecard will say they only won by 19 runs, but it felt much, much bigger than that. And then we talk about the Fort Lauderdale Lions that faltered, chasing 170 yesterday against the Baltimore Orioles, only managed 107, but both teams star-studded, and it should be an exciting affair we have underway. A little bit ago, the Atlanta Fire, they won the toss, and they elected to bowl first, so they'll put the Fort Lauderdale Lions out into the middle. Quite the opposite strategy that the Fire will have to enact here. They were sent in to bat first yesterday and defended a total. Today they are electing to chase the Atlanta Fire in their 11. It remains unchanged from yesterday. When we talk about Aaron Jones, the captain, obviously back in the lineup, as well as Kanar Lewis, Zain Zayed, Nasser Hussain, Jamar Hamilton, Obis Pinar, Corne Dry, Amila Aponzo, Jeremy Gordon, Athindra Subramanian, who fill out the under-19 slot. And then we talk about Rishi Pandey, who also fills out the under-19. Those are your two under-19s there for the Atlanta Fire. Again, that team will be looking to get to that second straight win here after dropping two yesterday. And for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, as you see the umpires make their way out into the middle, they're going to start off with their captain, Tajnarayan Chanderpaul, the man who comes in with such a name, 207, not out his high score against Zimbabwe in Test cricket for the West Indies. Then we'll talk about Zachary Zatur. This is the beauty of minor league cricket. Some will be that international players, but then others will be those of whom that are just coming in from local leagues, and Zachary's one of them, but he's made a name for himself. 113 runs in 4 innings for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Then Kevin Stout. We all know his name for the West Indies A team, what he's done in Barbados. Then Isaiah Raja from Trinidad and Tobago. He'll be seeing the bat from the left-hand side and also could see some of his leg spin involved. Adam McCann will fill out the under-19 slot there for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, along with Achilles Brown, who will be on the team. Amari Williams will make his way back. Vinit Tagarsi will be there as well, another pacer, and Brian Gale, the man from Jamaica who's played Jamaica under-19, he will be there as well as a right-hand bat, also part of that West Indies under-19 team. And then we mentioned Donza Hyatt and Ashley Nurse, two CPL legends in the building, so we'll get to see those men in the middle as well. Should be in a very exciting day of cricket here, as you see the two men making their way out. Tajnarayan Chanderpaul going to try to get his team off to a good start. Going to have to get his team off to a good start. We've seen this Fire team get really accustomed to this cricket complex here, the Buttonveers Cricket Complex. A beautiful facility created by Jayesh Patel. And it's all festivities here today as we see Corne Dry getting ready to bowl. DJ in place, comms in the building. It's going to be an exciting day of cricket. Corne Dry, the numbers speak for himself. This is a man who was in the top 5 wicket takers of the Southern Division each of the past 2 seasons. And he's someone who's just has so much experience. You see the two men there, Jamar Hamilton, Aaron Jones. Those will be the two emotional leaders for the team. Talking about what Aaron Jones will be as a captain and Jamar behind the stumps. And also on your screen, the two big South Africans, the big quick Corne Dry, and then the batter, Obis Pinar, who we'll get to see later. Also comes in with the left arm orthodox. But going to be interesting to see how this game progresses. What is the Fort Lauderdale Lions' approach? They're seeing this wicket for the first time here today. Their first time playing on it. So I'm just curious to see how they feel about the wicket. If they are willing to go big early, are they going to take their time to set things up? All curious decisions to be had here, but that man on your screen, Thajnarayan Chanderpaul, so much experience over the past couple of years, opening the batting for the West Indies. Of course, the son of Shivnarayan Chanderpaul, but he's making a name for himself. He had a brilliant innings last week, was the number one on the top 10 plays last week. You can always check that out on the minor league cricket socials. Here we go, Lakshmi board behind him, Sonoko board behind him, because Cornet Dry is all ready to go. First delivery coming in to Thajnarayan Chanderpaul. Amari Williams at the other end. Deep backward square, deep third in for Chanderpaul. First delivery from Cornet Dry. And going to be a wide. First runs courtesy of an extra there for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Will get their account started early. We saw Cornet Dry work really well against the lefty yesterday for the Morsel Raptors. Talk about the likes of Trayvon Griffith, just getting the ball to seam away, starting and angling it in, and then seaming it away. And so he's going to try to do something similar to Chanderpaul. He has a slip in place for that ball to leave. No one in the deep in cover, so daring Chanderpaul to attack him to the offside. This one leaves him. That's the delivery we're talking about right there. Just angling in and then leaving Chanderpaul late. That's the beauty of Cornet Dry. That's why he's picked up in the Major League Cricket draft by the Los Angeles Knight Riders, played in most every game because of his exploits. He hits the deck hard. And on this wicket where there's good bounce on offer, he'll fancy. Not a lot of movement off of the wicket. No grass on the pitch today. So all the movement you're seeing is just straight from the angle of Cornet Dry. Fuller and straighter. It's come off something. It's going to be a wide, says the umpire there, and maybe just a half-hearted appeal to subdue. You hear some cheers behind me. It's not just because there's minor league cricket happening, but it's also because there's matches happening all throughout here in this Button Veers cricket complex. Lots of game happening here. Two minor league games happen simultaneously, but also the under-15 national championships for the USA. In the air for a moment, Chanderpaul will get himself off the mark with that run there, high off the bat again. Extra bounce there was with Rishi Pandey in the middle earlier, actually, and we took a look at the wicket. It was a bit sticky early. The sun is not beating down. Plenty of cloud cover. Really the cloudiest it's been in my 2 weeks here. So, again, maybe a little bit for the seamers to look at. And right now the seaming challenge will be to Amari Williams. Has a high score of 48 in minor league cricket. Seeing things from the right-hand side, the righty-lefty combo. Deep third in position, as well as a slip. And that deep backward square. And Cornet Dry is elected to take a fielder out of cover and move him to mid-wicket inside the ring. So opening up covers, daring Williams to drive. On the legs. And it's not going to be any run. Defined leg in place for that delivery. But again, this is what Cornet Dry does really well. He's someone who figures out his plan, and he executes on his plan. He doesn't overthink, doesn't overdo. Just goes about his business, and that's the real key when you watch Cornet Dry bowl. It's really stock standard, but he's so good at just executing the little things, doing the little things right. Amari Williams looking to tuck and run. Nowhere to go for Williams, and it's a good over here for the Fire. This first one in the power play. We've seen it be tough to score on this ground. Both games yesterday, not many big scores. The Atlanta Fire, they defended 148, and then we saw the Atlanta Lightning defend a total of 152 against the Orlando Galaxy yesterday. So both teams winning defending yesterday. Curious to see why the Fire have elected to bowl on the surface. Bit of wind, a bit of breeze. That one's moved it away from Williams. Just tempted into the drive. No cover in place. Again, that's the decision from Cornet Dry. I think he's willing to eat runs through covers, but as long as Williams is willing to throw his hands at deliveries, and I think the Fire would have won the toss and elected to bowl first, just because there's a little bit of cloud cover. The breeze is always stagnant, so just trying to see if their seamers can get any bit of swing. The likes of Jeremy Gordon, Cornet Dry, I think they're Supermanian even. Maybe the toughest conditions to bat right now. Pushes it through the offside, but finds the toe end of the bat to close out the first over. It's a good one for the Fire to start with. It's 3 without loss.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Welcome back here to this 2023 Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship. You see Lauderdale Chanderpaul on your screen. All eyes will be on him. Slip in place. Again, comes with a big reputation. Made his debut in minor league last season for the Orlando Galaxy. Actually had a word with the owner last night. Said they were looking to make him the captain and build around him, but brought into the Fort Lauderdale Lions setup. He'll be facing the ex-Canadian national, Jeremy Gordon. Starts off well, extra bounce on Chanderpaul here. Again, that's what this wicket has. It has bounce. It's hard. Not many cracks in it. I had just a quick look at it. Again, really, maybe the biggest crack would be right on the crease line where the footing would be, but everywhere else, very intact. Watered it yesterday, so sticking together. For Jeremy Gordon, who again has that little arm angle that'll angle it back into the left-hander. Also gets a good bit of bounce. Wouldn't be surprised to see him set Chanderpaul up, try to go a couple short, and then go for that Yorker that'll move back in that we've seen so many times over the years from Gordon. Does go Fuller, looking for the big shot. Chanderpaul just looking to ease some of that pressure. It's a vacant leg side field. There's no fielder on the deep straight for any of these batters. The fielders at deep third and deep backward square. So just inviting the two to play straight, play down the ground, open up slips, open up just the catching inside the ring, trying to get Chanderpaul to just plop one up. And the way the ball is bouncing, you feel that it might just hit high off the bat, just land in the arms of the fielder. This is good work from the Fire early. Bat on ball, it's in the air, but I think he's cleared the infield with ease. Yeah, he has. And this one's going to run all the way to the boundary. This is good batting. Came back well. Missed it on the first occasion. This time, got all of it. Chanderpaul will find himself the first boundary of the innings, first 4 for him. Okay, we'll just take a second look at this. It's not a bad delivery from Jeremy Gordon. It's just Chanderpaul ready for the length. Once he found the length, got enough of it to race it all the way down for 4. But again, I think the Atlanta Fire are ready for that. They're willing to eat runs down the ground here. This time, a little extra bounce, a little extra effort. You could hear the grunt from here in the commentary box. There's Gordon bowling from the far end of the ground. And I think that's why you'd invite Chanderpaul to hit straight, just because it could come high off the bat. Aaron Jones stationed at slip with Jamar Hamilton. And this is always a challenge. Someone who reigns such international experience would have seen so many great international bowlers. This one outside edge, cries of catch it, but it's well over covers. And it's going to be a run, 4 runs maybe. Could run to the boundary. No, will hold up in the ground. And they'll come back for a third. It's good running from Chanderpaul and the Lions. Again, inviting that shot for the Fire. Got the false shot, but it just went well over covers. Again, outfield just a little bit thick. And that's why it just holds up. Again, a fantastic facility we're working with. Games happening all over this ground. The ground just to the left of it or to the right of your screen will be utilized later today. And grounds behind the commentary box, which is just straight back on your screen, being used for the USA under 15 under 15 nationals happening behind me. Williams runs it through third man. We'll pick up a single. That's good batting on this wicket. You need one player to accelerate and one to hold on, get singles, and I think you won't mind early on if there is just singles happening. If it is just the singles, that'll close out the second over. At the end of 2, it's 11 without loss.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Cornet dry back for his second over. We'll start off to Amari Williams. Deep third, deep backward square. In the air, taken. Cornet dry, uses the extra bit of bounce. And the big quick, he's got his man. This is what we see so often from Cornet dry, and the Fire are pumped about it. It's just that extra bit of bounce that he invokes. Take a look. Hard wicket here, dug in. Not much Amari Williams could have done. It was well directed. And all he could end up doing, high off the bat, ship it straight to Cornet dry. And Williams has to go. Unfortunate start for him. Just the one run to his name. And they let a Fire. They're buzzing after that one. They went back to the big quick, and this is why. They wanted to bowl first. They wanted to set that early target because the wicket's still sticky. Felt that they could extract some of that bounce, use it to their advantage with their big, tall, fast bowlers. And again, Amari Williams having to go. It'll make room for the new bat. We talked about Dajnarine Chanderpaul and how you have so much international experience on the side. You also have so much domestic talent, too. And that's the beauty of minor league cricket, because now Zachary Zathur has made his way into the middle, known for what he does in the Florida Cricket League. And a local batting alongside an international talent now. Going to be interested to see how he deals with Cornet dry. And Cornet dry, such a cool customer. You can see him there, just not really phased, no big celebration. Just going about his business the way he does. Again, for Zachary Zathur, is going to want to be wary of that bounce early on. Aaron Jones has stationed himself at a short cover, catching cover position. Third man has gone wider. No slip in place, thinking he's going to be back of a length. Cornet dry. Not expecting the ball to move. First delivery in Zathur. And this one, run through third man, has hit him in the glove. Turn down, good turn down from Dajnarine Chanderpaul. Jamar Hamilton, he's always active, always active. Puts out a good throw, hands on the hips as well. And again, love to see it from the Fire. Intensity here, heating things up. Cornet dry, starts off well, getting him on the glove. Again, extra bit of bounce on offer. Something to be real wary of if you're Zathur. And again, that it also creeps into your mind when trying to hit shots. You're just wondering, will it come high off the bat? Gully in place now after that delivery. Fuller out leading edge. You saw the finger go up for Cornet dry. Never carried, but it's good. Good bowling. Sharp bowling from Cornet dry all over the Fort Lauderdale Lions at the moment. Sends back deep backward square. Seeing that little flick shot from Zathur, but again, just with the extra bit of bounce, it's been hard to come by. A little stick in the wicket. Again, we talked about it. Wicket maybe just a little bit damp from the watering yesterday, and then not a lot of sun early on this morning. So the ball can just stick in the surface. This one down the leg side, finds a bit of body. Jamar Hamilton with the dive. Doesn't ever get there, but you love the attitude from Jamar Hamilton. You love just the effort. He's going to throw himself around back there. That's what you want in your wicket keeper. No runs on offer. It's turning into a possible wicket maiden here. Getting to that point. When does Zachary try to flip the switch? Does he try to play something rash? Patience is key on this surface. Again, it's tough to score, but if you can stick in, you can score. But you got to find singles. Got to keep the scoreboard ticking. Fuller in the air. Who wants it? Taken. Obis Pinar this time. 2 in the over for Cornet Dry. No celebration from him. He's just doing what he always does. A high five to the big South Africans because they team up for that dismissal. And not the start the Lions would have wanted, but the Atlanta Fire are all over it at the moment. Thanks to Cornet Dry and Zachary Zathur. Has to go, but thanks to this delivery, Fuller in length. And again, it was going down the leg side and just got there early. It was really a leading edge, trying to fend it away. Zathur has to go. A disappointing stay in the middle for him. Goes without affecting the scoreboard. One delivery left here in this third over. And we'll see what the Fort Lauderdale Lions have up their sleeve. How can they change this innings? You've seen Lauderdale Chanderpaul see 2 of his partners in and out. And that brings in the under-19, Achilles Brown. Comes in with a high reputation, was part of the East Zone in this year's USA Under-19 Nationals. And was a big contributor in that East Zone. Was one of the few bright spots on a team that just struggled, but has a task on his hand. Would be a task for really any bat. We haven't even seen Lauderdale Chanderpaul feel comfortable with Cornet Dry. And this is why Cornet Dry was such a hot commodity in Major League Cricket. Why he felt if he was in a roster, he was going to play, just because he does this so well. Hits the deck hard and then can change it up. And for the young man, Achilles Brown, it's going to be a lot to deal with number 23 there in red and black. We've seen 23s in red and black be fairly dominant. Think about Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls in the 1990s. Even LeBron James with the Cleveland Cavaliers wearing 23 in the NBA. But now right here, it's MILC, it's Cornet Dry. And forget the big red S. Superman right now is wearing 23 on his chest. Will roll his first delivery in to Achilles Brown. Short, well directed, gets the hands down. It's a great over. It's a double wicket maiden for Cornet Dry and the Atlanta Fire. 3 overs gone. It's 11 for 2. Back here at the Buttermere Cricket Complex. Gonna need some refueling. The Fort Lauderdale Lions will need to redo it with some Lakshmi Foods, because they're 2 down after a Cornet Dry double wicket maiden. And the task does not get any easier. Jeremy Gordon, now to face. Short on the body. Chanderpaul, all he can do is fine leg. This is a sharp start from the Atlanta Fire. This is exactly what they would have wanted. Winning the toss, choosing to bowl first, utilizing the bounce and the wicket. And again, you're just wondering, with Silamila Alfonso to come, how do the Fort Lauderdale Lions approach the rest of this innings? Fuller, big shout, given wide there from Jeremy Gordon. I think Chandrapal might have just found a little bit of the ground on the way through. There was a second noise, wasn't bat on the ball, rather. But again, it's been tough sledding, even for the man with the international experience. 8 off 8. He's got a 4, but that 4 looked good. Then a couple of edges have scored him some other runs. Outside that one shot, hasn't looked too comfortable. This one beats him all the way through. Extra bounce on the way through. Chandrapal looking to do what he did. And Gordon's first over goes straight back over the top. And again, maybe if you're the Atlanta Fire, with that line, if Gordon's going to stick there, maybe consider taking Obus Pinar out of fine leg, putting him into a second slip. They do have a deep third in place. On the body, caught, and given. There seemed to be a noise on the way through. No contention from Chandrapal, and Jeremy Gordon's on the trick. A couple outside off this time. Goes on to the body line, catches a bit of Chandrapal on the way through, and Jamar Hamilton does the rest. They get the big fish. And the Fort Lauderdale Lions, they're 3 down with just 12 runs on the board. Take a look at this. Yeah, it just looked like it caught a bit of glove on the way through. Again, Chandrapal turned around, saw the finger up, and knew he had to go. Pulled out of it late. He saw the hands above the head. It was just after he had turned. And that's a huge moment in this match. Tajnarain Chandrapal goes. And Danza Hyatt enters. And again, Danza Hyatt, someone who's not short on reputation, but to see the captain, to see Chandrapal falter the way he has, the Atlanta Fire are going to feel very good about what they had to do. Knew they needed a good start. Knew they needed to take early wickets. And they've done just that and kept the Fort Lauderdale Lions at bay. Just 12 runs on the board as Danza Hyatt walks in. Again, this team loaded with West Indian talent. He's represented the West Indies at the highest level and every team in between as well. Now 40 years of age, but still every bit as talented. Danza Hyatt was an all-rounder at the international level. He's come in here much earlier than he would have thought. Right-hand bat, and we'll see him with the ball later today. But right now, he's got to get through this spell from Gordon and Cornet dry. 12 for 3. 3 balls to go in this over. Lefties is gone. And Hyatt gets off the mark straight away. Does well. Not rushed. Not hurried by the bounce either. That's really the key. It's just got to be about settling with the bounce. And now brings out the young man, the under-19, Achilles Brown. Has some real work to do. Has seen his captain. And seen the 2 other batters ahead of him fall very quickly. Chandrapal played all of Gordon's first over. And he'll be in here now. It's Achilles Brown to face Gordon. And I wouldn't be surprised if Gordon does go to a little bit shorter stuff and just try to maybe scare Achilles Brown into playing outside of his comfort zone. Does go short, left alone from Brown. And again, you won't mind that a lot if you're the Fort Lauderdale Lions because, again, it's not a wicket. Yes, it's that dot ball, and you want to get runs as much as you can. But the key for me right now for Fort Lauderdale is trying to build a partnership, and you want it to be between Danza Hyatt and Achilles Brown. Don't want to open up the rest of this order. It's already seen a lot of it fall off. Again, short this time, trying to run it down. It was well directed, this time into the body. And Achilles Brown did well to see out the rest of Jeremy Gordon, but that becomes the end of the over. 13 for 3.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
Cornet dry to continue. On the bat, and it'll just be to backward point. It's good work from the Atlanta Fire. They're all over it. And for Cornet dry, been given a third over because of just what he did. That double wicket maiden. Troubling batters with the bounce he invokes. Just so good as Cornet dry, senior member of the side, former captain. Again, short this time on the pads. No run on offer. Rishi Pandey there to clean it up. Again, mentioning Cornet dry, so good, but talk about Rishi Pandey, talk about the rest of this Fire side. So much talent, not just the internationals and Ken R. Lewis and even Aaron Jones, who, again, USA vice captain, but Cornet dry. Then you talk about Dinder Subramanian, who we'll see later today as well. So much talent on this Fire roster. On a length again, nowhere to go once again. Can only find the practice pitch. And having some fun is Emilio Ponzo, Jamar Hamilton, and Aaron Jones there. You saw the relay. Little pooch passes, little sidearm throws. But again, for the Fire, just having a word with Rishi Pandey earlier, said, the team feels that we haven't played our best yet. But we also know that we're winning some games. We're defending totals that maybe shouldn't be defended, and that gives us a lot of confidence. Pulled into the leg side. Won't be a run. Chance of a run out. Won't be a run out. This is good work here from the Fire. Cornet dry's on the verge of a second maiden in 3 overs. Unheard of in T20 cricket, and really modern day cricket. And as that man on your screen, Cornet dry, who's been so good all the way through. Cool as a cucumber, as they say. And right now, it's tough sledding for Donza Hyatt and company. This one beats all the way through. Cornet dry. Little extra bounce, and the Fire are loving it. Hyatt just patting down the wicket, but it's nothing to do with the wicket right now. It feels like it has all to do with Cornet dry. 1 delivery left, 1 away from 2 maidens in 3 overs. Again, the former captain putting his hand up today, making everything look just so easy. And then you just see the way he runs through. Doesn't look laborsome. It's just such a classy cricketer. Short, pulled into the leg side. This one could be a couple of runs. Won't be the maiden that we were talking about. Will be 2 as Obis Pinar gives chase. And that'll close out the over. At the end of the 5th over, it's 15 for 3. Another good over for the Atlanta Fire.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Back here at the Buttermere Cricket Complex, Jeremy Gordon to get his 3rd over. The run to third man, nowhere to go. Emilio Ponzo all over it at the moment. This is really good work, Jeremy Gordon. Again, he's just so good. Talking about, how Cornet dry is such a cool customer. Gordon's one of those as well. He's adding pressure on the Fort Lauderdale Lions, and I was getting ready to say was that it's building in partnerships here. Building pressure from both ends is the key here for the Atlanta Fire. It's not just the fact that, yes, they're holding the runs, but they've built pressure, and they've not allowed the teams to get going. And again, Jeremy Gordon, a look back to Achilles Brown, who just can't find it yet. He can't find it yet. And that's because he's been so good. That man, Jeremy Gordon. Down to Hyatt, just patting down the wicket. But Gordon, again, he's found the length and he's stuck to it. And this is something to watch for if you're any bowler coming to play at this facility. The length is so important, especially on this wicket. Not a lot of movement. You got to take advantage of the extra bounce on offer. Run through third man. We'll find the man in the deep for just one. Again, even with this, yes, it's runs, but it's not going to affect the Atlanta Fire. But just 16 runs on the board. The Fort Lauderdale Lions got to find a way to keep the scoreboard moving. They're going to turn to Donza Hyatt. Again, the man with the international experience. I thought Thajran Chanderpaul could just hold things together and keep Hyatt for later on, but Hyatt's been out here early. Good delivery, really good delivery. Rushes through to Jamar Hamilton. It's a well-directed bouncer. And Jamar Hamilton felt good about that one. Jeremy Gordon's felt good about it. The Atlanta Fire, they're buzzing. The Fort Lauderdale Lions are trying to avoid a second really significant loss. We talk about net run rate in this tournament being huge. The Fort Lauderdale Lions are right there for that third spot. You talk about it with the two Atlanta sides, even with the Marshall Raptors still in contention. Baltimore in there as well. That one's taking a little bit more, and he's gone. Donza Hyatt's got to go. Not wanting to move. Was the finger lifted? I think it was lifted. I'm not sure. Finger was lifted, and the Atlanta Fire are moving. You can go with the bat. Yeah, go with the bat indeed, because you talk about Donza Hyatt. We were just talking about how he could get things running in the right direction. Unable to do it. Unable to do it at all. And the Atlanta Fire are all over this at the moment. And again, you can see Kennard Lewis there on your screen having a word, but right now the only thing needs having a word is the Fort Lauderdale Lions. How do they get back into this match? Because the Fort Lauderdale Lions just have no answers right now for the length, the bounce, and the bowling of the Atlanta Fire. The new man to make his way into the middle is going to be Isaiah Raja, the man on your screen there. The start of the non-strikers in, and again, he's got such a task on his hand. The man from Trinidad and Tobago. Actually, the son of Anil Raja, who would have played in Trinidad as well. So comes from a pedigree of cricketers, but still a lot of work to be done. That sixth over came, the power play came and went, and just felt like we never got started. It's 16 for 4. And again, the Atlanta Fire are feeling it. So is Jamar Hamilton. Kennard Lewis there with the umpire, and so a lot to be done now for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. And there's the new man who's got ball in hands. First signs of spin for the Atlanta Fire. It's Nasir Hussain. And again, this is the brilliance of the Atlanta Fire. You have to deal with Jeremy Gordon and Cornet Dry up front. And then you have to deal with Emilio Ponzo, Nasir Hussain, and have to deal with Athena Subramanian. Then throw in Obus Pinar and Aaron Jones. So many bowling options. Nasir Hussain, we talk about international experience. The Bangladeshi national. So much international experience in his own right as well. So he'll have high confidence going into this over. And the field spreads out as the power play comes to a close. Deep covers, long off, long gone. Deep mid-wicket and deep backward square all in place. Coming into the right-hander, so couldn't this be the over Fort Lauderdale Lions take advantage of? What's the mindset now in an over? Usually when you see the off-spinner, you're looking to attack him. But with 4 wickets down, how do they play it? It's pushed into the offside, and they'll get that first run straight away. And again, gets some runs early. That's going to be the key. How can they continue to find runs? Achilles Brown gets one of his own there, but now the left-hander, and that's why he's on. It's on for Isaiah Raja. Slip in place as well. And Aaron Jones has been real clinical in the planning, and just everything he's looked to do has made sure that Fort Lauderdale Lions have never felt comfortable. They've seen the plan of the length that they want to bowl, that hard length, angling it into the batters, not giving them any room, and we'll see what his plan is for Nasser Hussain, who likes to be on a length as well. Operates very well on there. Touch Fuller, beats Aaron Jones inside the ring, and so they'll find one out in the deep. Excuse me, not Aaron Jones there. Aaron Jones standing at slip. Cornet dry, picks up the ball, a little toss back. But again, this is going to be the key now. Yes, it's not going to be flashy cricket, but get 1, get 2, find ways to get 6 and over from here. Give yourself a chance to defend a total. Again, this will be the 4th. When the Fire get out there to bat, it'll be the 6th innings on that wicket, as this one's defended away. That time Emilio Ponce able to keep it. But like we were saying, just if you can claw your way up to a total on the 6th innings of this wicket, you could just see some falters. This one staying a touch low, gets through mid-wicket, be a run out into the deep there. See Zain Zayed giving throw in. Again, for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, they want to avoid a big loss. A big loss here would really take you out of the question, and it would become a 4-team race with the 2 Atlanta sides, Baltimore and Morrisville, depending on that Morrisville result later today. Playing Orlando, get to win a game, so you don't want to falter too much if you're Fort Lauderdale. Cut into the offside, no run on offer. Rishi Pandey this time. All over it. This is good bowling from the Atlanta Fire. Clinical stuff, not giving the Lions any room. Pushed, and no run on offer. Rishi Pandey all over it, being brought back into the side. And that'll close out the over. It's another good one for the Atlanta Fire. 7 overs gone, 19 for 4. Atindra Subramanian. He's the new man with the ball in hand. And he'll try to continue this tight spell. Subramanian's been so good throughout minor league cricket. One of the stars. Push into the leg side. They'll pick up a run there. Could come back for 2. They won't. You got to be clear about the calls early. In the innings, you have to make sure that you know that you're going for 2. We saw Rishi Pandey and Obis Pinar, Zain Zayed come up with some good partnerships, and they're really clear about the runs they want to take. It seemed like they made those plans early, before really the over started. Said, hey, if it gets in this area, we're running for 2, or we're running for 1. We're going to force it. And I think right now for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, that's what you're going to want to do. Now into the left-hander with all the experience, Isaiah Raja. We'll see what Supermanian has. He's known for all of the variations. What does he have in store now? Run through third man, intentionally run down there. Again, you can say slip might have been in play, but no slip involved. And again, very intentional that from Raja. Good way to get a single. There's always that single out to deep third. And if you can just keep festering the runs and keep the Fire out there, you make the Fire continue to have to bowl and bowl well, not give them wickets. It just becomes maybe a little bit demoralizing. You can find some bad balls here, some loose delivers you can really take advantage of. A good start for Supermanian here. Again, can he find some wickets? Pushed into the offside. He'll get another quick single. Again, that's smart. Soft hands, played it down. And just knew that they were going to run it early. It was also in between the two fielders. And again, this is now good batting from the two. Understand that they're not going to go big. They're not looking to hit sixes or fours yet. They're going to stick in here until you would say the 12th, 13th, even the 14th, 15th over, and then try to go bigger. With 4 wickets already falling, yes, if the shot's in your slot, you take it. But you don't force it. Don't have to manufacture anything. Just find the runs where they come. Full and straight. Hit straight to Aaron Jones. No run on offer. And again, you won't be too mad about that if you're the Fort Lauderdale Lions, because of the fact that it's come off the middle of the bat. You've played it into the right area. You haven't lost a wicket on that delivery. Keep yourself in. Play for the long game. T20 cricket, even though it's a short form of the game, it's still a format that can ebb and flow. Wait for the flow to come back to your side of the table. This one's staying very, very low. Raja does well to keep it out. Pick up a run there. Out to deep backward square, but very well watched with one delivery left here in the 8th. And again, this is what you're going to hope for more of if you're the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Yes, not in your innings. You'd hope that the wicket still sticks together as the sun continues to bake now and starts to peek out of the clouds, the overcast skies that we've had here. But you're going to hope that once the second inning starts, the wicket starts to deteriorate a little bit, the ball staying low, you can keep yourself in the game. And left alone to close it out, Jamar Hamilton off to the races, picks up the helmet, ready for the next over. That brings along the end of the 8th. And at the end of 8, it's 23 for 4.
What's up, Doug?
What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Oh, this is the vibes here on Labor Day weekend. DJ's playing, the production crew's loving it. And it's just something that gives some of the fans out here a little bit of music in between the match. Feels like a real event here. Thank you for joining us here in this 2023 Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship. Nasser Hussain back with ball in hand for the Atlanta Fire. Pushed into the offside, in the gap. They'll pick up that single again. This is what's going to be key for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, and I wouldn't expect much more from the Atlanta Fire than this for the time being. Excuse me, from the Fort Lauderdale Lions for the time being. Just see yourself back into the game. Get the singles, get 5, 6 and over, claw back. Give yourself some semblance of a total to defend. Yes, it's an explosive batting lineup, but so were the Fort Lauderdale Lions batting lineup. It's an explosive one that just got tamed today. Any team can get tamed on any day. The Fire, they could be cooled down and extinguished with some good bowling. Ooh. What a delivery. Big shout from Jamar Hamilton. Big shout. And says no, and they'll get the run in the end. Jamar Hamilton can't believe that it hasn't been called. He left it alone. And again, wow, Jamar Hamilton is in stunned silence saying there wasn't a shot being offered. Let's just take a look at this if we can. Jamar Hamilton's convinced. The two umpires are now having a conversation in the middle. That's what's the delay right now, but if we could just see this. He didn't offer a shot, so even if it impacted outside the off stump, that's not the question. It's would it have spun back? Again, broadcast team has a lot to do here, but let's see what happens. All right, comes in. It clipped a bit of pad. It's close. It's tight. Not going to matter in the end. They'll get the run. Given not out. Jamar Hamilton was convinced. Nasser Hussain. A little slight appeal from him as well, but Hamilton thought that was 1,000% out. Wasn't given. Achilles Brown will say, given a life, if you will. A little change in the field. Point moves up. Third man steps back. It's a good field set, staggered field set. Love to see the tactics for the Fire. Just pushed, and they get it into the gap. No run on offer, though. Good attacking, good aggressive fielding from the Fire. This is good work from Nasser Hussain. Tight stuff here. Spins away, no run. Well done here. This is what the Atlanta Fire can do really well. They have an assortment of spinners, an assortment of pacers. They have 4 spinners they can choose from, 3 pacers. Oh, Aaron Jones, what a stop that was. That one probably should have been one straight back. Aaron Jones gets a hand on it. Well done from the Fire captain. 9 overs have now passed for the Atlanta Fire, and they've been all over the Fort Lauderdale Lions.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Nearly through the halfway stage of this first innings. It's 25 for 4 for the Fort Lauderdale Lions as they try to rebuild. And right now, projected a score of 56. If they can just get into the triple digits, could be a question. Beats the outside edge. Atindra Subramanian. He's back in hand, ball with hand. And how about this? This is what the youngster does so well. Member that USA Under-19 team that's just clinched their way to Sri Lanka for the Under-19 World Cup. He's a big cog, and I had a word with Utkar Shrivastava, another member of that team, and said their pacers really stepped up on that surface. They needed the pacers, and Subramanian, one of those individuals. This one hit, nowhere to go. Aaron Jones has a chance to run him out. It's close, given. Achilles Brown can't quite believe it. He was halfway down the track, and underarm throw gets him. This is sharp from the Atlanta Fire. And the struggles, the woes, they continue for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. It was a combination of 2 very good pieces in the field, Aaron Jones and Jamar Hamilton. Very rarely you see either of them have any mix-ups. Take a look at this replay here. He's come down the track, hits it. Aaron Jones saves it there, looks to throw, then goes underarm. Close. The bat might have just been in the air. The umpire has the best angle of it. Also could have been behind. Achilles Brown thought he was safe, but the umpire put the finger up pretty quickly in the end. The Atlanta Fire, they're up in arms. They're joyous now. 5 down are the Fort Lauderdale Lions. And you thought those 2 in the middle, Brown and Raja, could just stick in, but rather, they're not going to. And the Fort Lauderdale Lions have not found anything, and they're going to go to another man with some international experience. Brian Gale is going to make his way out into the middle. Gale, part of the Jamaica Under-19 team in years prior. Also a member of the West Indies Under-19 team. and known for his exploits with the bat in hand. He's one of those hitters I think they would have wanted to save till the later stages of the innings, but will be inserted here in the 10th over. And this is the pressure we were talking about. Remember we were talking about bowling happens in pairs, and they've been bowling well from both ends of the wicket with Cornet Dry, Jeremy Gordon, now with Tito Subramanian and Nasser Hussain. And that wicket's because of pressure. Brown gets one off the middle of the bat and feels, okay, we're going to go take off for the single. Communication wasn't clear, and it's because of the pressure Brown wanted that single. And Brown left stranded, and Aaron Jones with a simple underhand toss, and Jamar Hamilton does the rest. This Fire team, again, is a side that hasn't felt they've played their best yet in minor league cricket here in 2023, but know that they're winning games despite it. And so they feel if they can get everything going in the right direction, they're going to be back in the finals. They're very confident about that. This one beating Gale. Just look, take a stab at it. Not a lot of footwork on that. Trapped on the crease. Again, have to find just runs, build this partnership, bat through the innings. Don't give it away in the 15th. If you can bat 10 more overs, you can put together 50-odd runs, 40 to 50-odd runs if you just never find rhythm. And if these two stay in the middle, you'd have to imagine they could get 80, 90 runs. Not a big ask, but it's just tough with the way the Fire are bowling. This is good stuff. Subramanian, the young man, the one thing you'd say about him is he just doesn't get bored with his bowling. If something's working, he's ready to stick on that length and stick on that line. And the great thing about Subramanian is it's not going to be the same ball on that same line and length. Yes, he can bowl the one, seam up, and continue to bowl it, but his role is to bowl those different variation deliveries, and he does that so well. Again, that's another one. That one's beat Jamar Hamilton. A little extra bounce on the way through. Hamilton swinging the hand around. We're going to hope he's all right. The Fire will hope so. And that left hand is really struggling right now. Went after it with the right. Going to hope Hamilton can make it through. We'll give you an update on that later. But, again, we're just going to be watchful. Watch that left hand of Jamar Hamilton. He's still holding it. He's up at the stumps for Subramanian to keep the batters rooted in the crease. How's the lefty Isaiah Raja now on strike? Gonna watch the left hand of Hamilton as we continue. Into the leg side. Could find a couple of runs. Racing towards the boundary. Cornet Dry. Unable to pick it up. Brings up 2 runs to close out a good 10th over for the Atlanta Fire. 28 for 5. Big shout given. Nasser Hussain, he strikes straight away, and the Fort Lauderdale Lions are tumbling at the moment. How about this? Hussain, first delivery of the 11th over. Gets Gale out, LBW. Brian Gale brought in as a big hitter, but unable to do the goods. Take a look at this here. Again, first delivery of the over. Again, he has the best view of it, does the umpire. Your 2 questions would be, where did it pitch? And it looked like it might have hit around that knee roll. Was it a little high? Umpire says no. Been very ready to lift the fingers, the umpires today. And that'll be another one. And the Fort Lauderdale Lions already 6 down here. Not what they would have wanted after yesterday's loss. 26 for 6. This is the first inning. Well, the Atlanta Fire, they're joyous. The music is joyous right now. There's a vibe if you're in the Fire camp. Not so much if you're in the Lions camp. And there's actually a barbecue happening near their camp, and it's kind of metaphorically accurate. They're in a pit of fire, and they're up in smoke right now are the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Nasir Hussain, the latest man to take a wicket, brings out Kevin Stout, who's in the middle. Atlanta Fire are doing a lot of things well. And not going to be a tall task with the bat if the bowlers continue to do what they're doing. Stout on strike. Big shout again. Big shout again. Finger up again. Stout has to go. Was on the back foot, and maybe that's why the height wasn't that big of an issue for the umpire there. Back to back. Hussain, he's on a hat trick now. Kevin Stout in and out, gone for a golden duck. Just take another look at that, but this is unbelievable stuff here from the Atlanta Fire. That pit of smoke continues to grow. Again, moving towards the back foot, and I think that's why the height maybe has been not considered or been deemed okay, because he's moved on to the back foot. But you can see the conversation still happening, that saying, it's hit me on the thigh pad. Stout can't believe quite what happened, but it doesn't change what really is the game right now. Kennard Lewis is vibing. He's loving the music right now. He's loving everything he's seen from the Atlanta Fire, because the score is 28 for 7, and he's still jumping around. The Fire are jumping around. It's spreading right now, and Kennard Lewis has the vibes. That's what Labor Day weekend is in minor league cricket. The DJ's out. And right now the Fire are well out in front. Not a lot of runs for Kennard Lewis to have to score today. We'll see how quickly he can do it. He's got a kick out of that comment there. But right now the Fort Lauderdale Lions trying to add to their total. They got to turn to the rest of the lineup. Ashley Nurse now into the middle. Get another one of these men that carry international experience and caliber, but it hasn't seemed to prove dividends yet. But can Ashley Nurse change that for the Fort Lauderdale Lions? Can he be the one to put his hand up and get going? Isaiah Raja's still there, so still plenty of bats that can change the game, but Nurse and Raja have a lot of work to do. Hat-trick ball here for Nasir Hussain. Came off the pad, well down the leg side, but this is good pressure bowling. You saw the slip and the leg slip in place for Ashley Nurse. A man from Christchurch, Barbados, 34 years of age. Plays as an off-break bowler, but known for that. Known for his ability to hit. Finds the inside edge and will just be one, but this is what he's going to have to do. And again, I'm just going to wonder if there's a second thought about it, just because there's 7 wickets down, 29 runs now on the board. But how do you balance the natural aggressiveness if you're Ashley Nurse with wanting to just play out 20 overs? This is just the 11th over, ladies and gentlemen. So 9 overs to go after this. Not even 30 runs on the board for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Struck well from Raja. Will pick up 1 to bring 30 on the board with the delivery left in this 11th over. Nasir is saying he's asked all the right questions. He's done a lot of the damage to the right-handers. Hasn't even been the lefties that he was brought in to probably neutralize. But he's done it all for the right-handers so far today. Coming around the wicket. Attacking the stumps. Does so again. Inner half of the bat. Dot ball to close out this 11th over. That saw 2 wickets in it. Another 2-wicket over for the Atlanta Fire. 11 overs gone. Score reads 30 for 7.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
$30 for 7. That's not a technological error there, ladies and gentlemen. That's the score right now for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. The technology is all good, but right now the batting hasn't worked for the Fort Lauderdale Lions after being sent in to bat first. Left arm spin of Amila Aponzo being introduced. We'll start off to Isaiah Raja. The 2 men in the middle, Raja and Ashley Nurse, carry some experience. Raja domestically in the West Indies, and of course Ashley Nurse, his reputation goes without saying. But now an interesting conversation. How do you bat out 20 overs when you have Ashley Nurse, who's just naturally aggressive? If there's one in the zone, he's going to swing at it. And how do you balance that with trying to play it out? Clipped into the leg side. They'll pick up 1. This has just been clinical from the Atlanta Fire. From the way the ball has started things off, and the sun is now out. And this is what could be the difference in the wicket right now. We saw a little bit of dampness, a little sticky was the wicket early. Cause for the extra bit of bounce, and the ball to just stick in the surface. And as the sun continues to bake, the Fire could benefit from that with their batting. Right now, I don't know what the wicket would have to do for the Lions to defend this total. And Ashley Nurse has a packed leg side field. Deep backward square, deep mid wicket, long on, long off, deep covers. Look to pull straight away. This is what the question is going to be. Can Ashley Nurse keep it within himself? Or is he going to continue to look down the ground? Is he going to continue to look big? Flighted, inner half of the bat, no run on offer. Well done by Nasser Hussain. A little bit of an awkward bounce there just with the incline off the practice wicket. Look to go big into the leg side. Gets 1, does Ashley Nurse. Again, I think he's got to flip the switch here. Got to turn the gears back. Sit, play for the single double. And that run rate is going to be important, and you got to find a way to claw into the 3 figures. The triple digits have to be found. It's a tall, tall ask, and yes, the boundaries happen later. But right now, find singles. Down the leg side, a wide, a freebie. You can see Emilio Ponzo not looking to give the batters any time. Intrigued with that tactic here. Nasser Hussain was a little bit slower through the air than this. Not much. Kept the ball just as flat, but not much pace on that. Emilio Ponzo quick through the over. Looks like this inning's going to go by quickly as well. 12 overs gone. It's 33 for 7.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
spin to continue here for the Atlanta Fire. And there'll be left arm spin from both ends of the ground. Emilio Ponzo came from the far end. And it's Obis Pinar now from the commentary end. Obis Pinar taking the wicket of Dane Pete yesterday, his buddy and former teammate. Will now look to take some big wickets here. Has Ashley Nurse to start things off. Same field in for Ashley Nurse. Quicker, his aerial, but away from the fielder. Well done there by Nurse, who has a little hop down the ground, but again, just got on the back foot, looked to work it into the gap for one. I think he's going to realize that that's going to be the key. And for the Atlanta Fire, not looking to take that wicket. I don't think that's a wicket-taking delivery there from Obis Pinar, with the batters not looking to hit big. Almost would think about maybe inviting Nurse, and I think with the runs on the board, you could eat a 6 and it'll be all right. But maybe it's just to keep some momentum. Don't let the momentum slip in the other direction. Pinar, of course, joining the Atlanta Fire this season, third team in this third season of minor league cricket. St. Louis to Morrisville, now to Atlanta. Hit into the onside, and Fort Lauderdale, if they were to get bowled out here, their dreams of making the playoffs would just have to be dipped into the ocean and get thrown in there. Hit down the ground. This one could be won. It will. Again, a lot of just international talent. A lot of people who've played at a high level on Fort Lauderdale, and you would think based off the roster that they would just find some success, but they haven't done it quite yet. Haven't figured it all out. Reverse sweep works. Meets it on the full. Gets it behind point. Will find 4 runs. Only the second boundary of the innings, ladies and gentlemen, since that Ryan Chandrapal 4 down the ground, but better late than never for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Isaiah Raja's been in the middle for quite some time. That was the 17th delivery he just faced. And some runs now on the board. Moves into the 40s now to the Fort Lauderdale Lions in this 13th over. Down the leg side. Ends up being wide there for Obis Pinar. Trying to just jam up Isaiah Raja for room. Again, Pinar is such a weapon for the Fire because he can slip in a couple overs there, and then with the bat, so explosive. Into the leg side, cries of catch it. Won't be, and will be another boundary. Isaiah Raja, he's figured out how he wants to bat. 2 boundaries and 3 balls. Most explosive stuff we've seen for the Fort Lauderdale Lions as of late. Moves the score to 45. A huge over this in the context of the match. Biggest over of the day. 2 boundaries to come from it. Taking another look at this. Just found the length early. Got it all the way for 4. This will be some more runs for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, that wide. But again, you just took a look at that replay. Swept into that shot. Picked the length out early. Enjoying the ball coming back into him. Tucked into the leg side again. No run on offer, but a good over for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Haven't said that much today. 46 for 7 at the end of 13. Seems like the Fort Lauderdale Lions had some Lakshmi foods before that over. They refueled. They look stronger than ever. Nurse looked to go big. It's beat everybody and is running towards the boundary. Rishi Pandey is going to keep it at just 1, but Ashley Nurse was looking to go big again. That time it just gets through everything. Jamar Hamilton couldn't quite believe it missed stumps. This is good work here from the Atlanta Fire. Again, been real clinical throughout the day. Not a lot of runs coming for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. It's not just it's been bad batting, it's just been really good bowling from the get-go. No run on offer. Again, they've been consistently on that length, angling it into the batters. When we talk about Cornet Dry and Jeremy Gordon, why they've picked up wickets. And then the spinners, Nasser Hussain, cleaning things up in the middle. Reverse sweep again. How is that one ended at fine leg? Rishi Pandey does well, but how about this? Was through the shot early enough to where I think it found maybe the back half of the bat. Want to take a look at this, but Emilio Ponce might not even give us time to look at that. So I might just tell the replay to hold that one there. You see a single being taken, but goodness gracious. Let's just take another look at what we just seen here. Goes for the reverse sweep. He's already played that shot today. Yeah, he's found the ball late enough that he just worked it to fine leg. He's going to tell us it's the new shot he's invented. Nurse looking to go big. Jamar misses again, misses stumps again. Rishi Pandey's had some work in this over. They'll find another run, but Ashley Nurse has said, I'm going down the ground. Another buy-in. The Fort Lauderdale Lions will take runs as they come. But here we go. Raja's taken the mature approach in the inning so far. Been in for a minute. 18 from 22. Here it is. Back into Raja. A reverse sweeps again. This time gets all of it. We'll find 4 runs for it. Does well. It was in the air, but it got just the elevation needed. Struck it well enough. This time gets it over. Backward point for 4. That's the way and the place he wants to play it. It's a good way to close out the over. 53 now. If the 50 comes up here at the end of the 14th over, he took a look at the replay because of that shot. And again, this time met it at the right length. I think the length was the key. I think the first time he tried to play it was just too short to play that reverse sweep. Must threw the shot early enough, but this time picked the length early, got into the right position. And now Ashley Nurse will be taking on Obis Pinar. And again, for Ashley Nurse, he saw when there was a little bit of flight offered, he was looking to go down the ground. As Obis, after an over where he was quick through the air, flat, does he try to just be a little bit slower? Never going to give too much flight just because of the angle and how tall he is. Yeah, he's touched slower, and he's led to that swing. You could see Ashley Nurse open himself up so early because he saw a little bit of flight and said, okay, I'm going to take this one. But Obis is so deceptive in that manner just because of how high the ball comes from. Slower again, reaching again, missing again. And for Obis Pinar, that's where he can really be so effective, is because when he flights it up, it's still coming at a downward trajectory, so it can be at any length. It's just slower through the air. Quicker this time, on the pads. Says no, does the umpire. Really a subdued shout, but again, good change-up delivery that from Obis Pinar. Taking another look. Went quicker, and that's the key. He went quick through that one. Does he go back to the slower stuff? Shorter, high on the bat. This is a good comeback over for Pinar, who was pumped for a couple of boundaries in his first. He's come back well, dealing with Ashley Nurse. Moving it away from the right-hander. Would like this matchup. Slower again. Push down the ground. Kennard Lewis there. Keeps it to just 1. Lewis taking a subtle jog at it. Oh, little fumble as well. That's keeping us entertained. Is Kennard Lewis. Throw a little wayward as well. It's the entertainment value. That's what minor league cricket is right now. It's entertainment. Constant every weekend. That's what Labor Day weekend's all about. 38 matches across minor league from sea to sea. I know that's the Canadian national motto, but it applies right now when we talk about minor league cricket. From coast to coast. Pushed. Obis Pinar cleans it up. A good comeback for Pinar here. 15 overs gone, 54 for 7. Here we go. 15 overs have gone. It's the last 5. 54 runs on the board. Ashley Nurse is still in the middle, so a chance to put some runs on the board, but my goodness, the Atlanta Fire so clinical. Miller Ponds, though, back. York's Ashley Nurse, who's just been dealing with all the strike as of late, has struggled to go down the ground, has looked for the big shots. Fielders in those regions. Pulled. Has he got all of it? Yeah, Ashley Nurse, big, strong. No chance for the man out there at long on. Picked the length early, got back early. That's the key. How quick did he get onto that back foot? And some of these could really shape up the game for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Let's give them an opportunity. Take another look at that. We'll get to it in a minute. Yeah, back and was able to pull it away. This one's going to be a single, but just look how big that was. Straight down the ground. Again, this is what Ashley Nurse can do. Give you a 6 in the over, then get the singles around. And in the last 5, this is what he was made for. This is why I believe if they would have held on to wickets, he would have come in now. If a wicket were to fall around this time. That's where he's going to have the most success. Ponzo now working into Isaiah Raja, who has, again, found rhythm, and there's now a deep point for that reverse sweep. I would still say bring him backward even more. Yeah, they've done so because that's where he's really looked to attack the spinners, opening up covers. So that region open. Tucked into the leg side, but unable to get enough on it. It was just too quick for him to place it around. Again, there's a little bit of stick in the wicket. And so that's the key that I don't think will be there where the Fire are batting. The sun's baking on it. The moisture's gone. This time Jamar Hamilton could do something. Ashley Nurse is hobbling along. And again, something to watch for. It doesn't look like he's very comfortable running. And just curious as to why. Jamar with the look to Nurse. Nurse with the look to Jamar. Sure, not the first time these two have seen each other. Nurse is going to look for another big shot here, another big boundary. Goes through covers, gets this one brilliantly, well placed. It'll be 4 runs. Really through extra. And again, just going straight down the ground. He's found himself 10 runs in the over, and Ashley Nurse is making things happen here at the Buttonveers Cricket Complex. To take another look at that. Again, he got to the length well early enough. And again, the key in this is the fact that he goes with the spin here. Sees the length. Yorker really just made him enough room for him and then helped himself with the spin through extra cover. It was a really stunning shot to see live. And okay, this is the time where Ashley Nurse can really tee off, show off the long levers, the big arms, the big shots. And he has them all around the ground. You would say really 180 degrees is going to go straight, you would say. Wouldn't expect him to try the innovative stuff when you're big and strong like that. Don't need to really try to be too experimental. Speaking of being experimental, Atindo Subramanian is exactly that. Someone who has all the variations. Pulls it on a good line, good length, and then can do the back of the hands, the little finger spinners. Changes things up really well. A little bit of sub. Kennard Lewis sitting out for the moment. Brings on the sub fielder sitting at long on. Subramanian will start off to Isaiah Raja. I think it's just going to look to get Ashley Nurse on strike. But Athindra doing really well against what the Fire have done consistently throughout the innings on a length, angling it in to the batters. And that's the real key. The fact that he's angling everything inside doesn't give the batters any room. And I wouldn't be surprised, or I wouldn't minded if Raja were maybe to shuffle across his stumps to try to access and give room. Yeah, does shuffle. Finds a single down the ground. And now it brings out Ashley Nurse, who's got to be careful, got to be watchful with Subramanian. Don't want to commit to a shot early. He's someone who, again, is just very prolific is with the slower delivery. Back of the hand slower one's a ball that could work against Ashley Nurse, and the way Nurse, with the spinners at least, was so early in committing to a shot, if he saw any bit of flight, you could just get him in a bit of trouble here. Subramanian could have his international wicket here. Slower one in the air, just going to be short of the fielder. That's good bowling, though. That's smart bowling. Overthrows, can't do that. The Fire did so well with the fielding. Brings Ashley Nurse back, too. That's the biggest key. He's shown to be and proven to be the biggest boundary hitter. And that gives the Fort Lauderdale Lions an opportunity to get him back as they try to progress to that 3-digit mark. That's 3 figures, but Subramanian, a good slower one to start things off. This time, seam up. Ball, interesting. And Ashley Nurse can't quite believe it. Jamar Hamilton can't quite believe it either. He's done well to dig out the Yorker. There should have probably been one, but it's found the practice wicket, which is an artificial surface sitting right next to the natural surface. It's found the exact edge of it, and it's popped straight up into the air and landed maybe 2 feet in front of him. Down the leg side, gonna be a boundary, gonna be 4. Can't bowl that, just missed the variation there. Tried it, really did try it, but Subramanian that time wavered in the line, wavered in the length, and far too easy. Being that slow and that short, it was always gonna get pulled. It was always gonna find the boundary rope. Ashley Nurse was never gonna miss out on that one. Now for Subramanian, how does he respond? Again, he likes the slower one here. Bowled it well, but he's got to find the line of length on it again. Yeah, that one, the off cutter. Jamar Hamilton, hands on heads. And this delivery was, again, another good one as you close out the over. 17 overs gone at 73 for 7. Here we go. Obus Pinar to bowl here in the 18th over. Starting out to Raja. Switch hit straight to Jamar Hamilton. Missed it altogether. It's deemed a wide, and that's... The umpire there, I think, has made a mistake. That's not how, at least to my knowledge, the wide would be signaled or deemed. If he's looked to switch hit, that now means the 2 wide lines are the wides, and umpire would have the better judgment, but that one's going to be buys, and he'll find a run there, bring Ashley Nurse on to strike, the matchup that he would like. But again, interesting call that wide. Some interesting stuff happening at the Spud and Veers Cricket Complex, and with interesting stuff happening not just with the umpires, but also, we saw the ball earlier in that previous over just take a little bit of a tumble off the wicket. Changing the field up here is Obis Pinar for the big hitting Nurse. Deep backward square, deep mid wicket, long on, long off. Cover who's gone to a deep extra position. Flied it up and gone through. It's gone through everybody again. Was it too far away? No, just giving us buys, that one. No bat. Jamar Hamilton unable to collect it. Some runs coming courtesy of extras here for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. They'll take them in spades. As the field continues to switch. We mentioned some crazy things happening. Crazy things happening all over the place here at Butterm Veers Cricket Center. Not with just minor league, but USA Under 15 Nationals as well. Pulled, nowhere to go for Isaiah Raja. Obis Pinar, though, he's been good since that first over where he's pumped for 2 boundaries. Since then, very economical. This one beats Isaiah Raja, given wide, though. And again, we mentioned some crazy things. Here's the one that we're talking about. Crushed through the covers, but only to find the artificial wicket and bounce straight up in the air. Hit into the leg side. Can Cornet Dry get a hold of it? Yeah, he can. Cornet Dry. He's big, he's tall, and he's got hands that never drop anything. Made it look ever so simple. It's a good innings for Isaiah Raja in the context of the game. You'll say he just was 24 from 31, but his innings very valuable. This team could have been in real trouble. They get to 77. And Raja just trying to up the ante, unable to do it. Found Cornet Dry. Take a look at this. He's taking it well outside the off stump. Really not a bad shot at all, but just didn't quite get all of it. And Cornet Dry, just over there, I think the fact that he is a towering giant, able to get the hands in the air as well and keep himself well inside the boundary line. Had it been another boundary fielder, could have been a question, but has to go. And bring out a new man into the middle for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. They're 77 for 8 as Vinit Tagarsi will come into the middle. We've talked about players that have done things locally and then internationally. This is another local here. Tagarsi, known for what he does with the ball in hand in his 5 innings, has 10 wickets and an economy, but right now has to find a way to get a single and let Ashley Nurse play the big shots. Could even eat the over up. And if he can eat the over up and get Ashley Nurse on strike for the 19th over, and as much strikes as Ashley Nurse sees, the better for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. First delivery in here for Vinit. Runs it through covers, and they get one straight away. And so now, maybe you can close the field here if you're the identifier. Maybe bring everyone in. Oh, they're going to keep everybody in the deep. So Ashley Nurse has an opportunity to get a single here. So last delivery of the over. Everyone on the offside, daring him to take it into the leg side. I like this with the ball. That's going to be angled into him. Fire been so good in their planning. And jams up Ashley Nurse. He'll be at the non-strikers end to start the next over. At the end of 18, it's 78 for 8.
What's up, Doug?
What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Back here at the Buttonveers Cricket Complex. Talk about the Buttonveers Sports Complex and talk about how good the energy's been here on Labor Day weekend. And there you go, the cameraman enjoying, the DJ now in attendance. We thank you for joining us through these 38 games on Labor Day weekend. We have a lot of them here in Atlanta. And nothing better than minor league cricket. Subramanian back. Pushed into the offside. Chance of a run out. Direct hit. Says not out. Says not out. Does really well. I believe it's Amila Ponzo out there who's put the throw in from backward point. Collected it quickly, but Ashley Nurse, who's been hobbling along all day long, it would use the big strides and the long levers to get himself back inside his crease line. Okay, we'll take a second look at this. Amila Ponzo, quick pickup and throw. Bat's down. Bat was down when ball made contact. Again, can't really tell where his bat was, but the umpire deemed it inside the line. And I think the Subramanian having a conversation with his captain, Aaron Jones, about where he wants the field. And he's pushing Amila Ponzo into the deep, at deep point. And with deep points, you have a deep cover, a long off, a long on, and a deep mid-wicket in place. So it just tells me that he's looking to bowl wider. And that's why deep backward square has come to a deep mid-wicket now. So it looks like he's going to attack the offside and dare Ashley Nurse to hit him from there. Slower ball, cream through covers, fielder there, can't stop it. Went for a one-handed stop. It ends up being 4 runs. The second time we've seen Nurse go through covers. And the second time we've seen him hit a boundary there. We'll take another look at this, but that was a slower one. Nurse picked it early and, again, just anticipated the line. Didn't try to take a massive slog. Just helped himself. And the fielder put one hand out and unable to stop it. I believe it was Jeremy Gordon out there on the deep. He's now switched with Obis Pinar. How does Subramanian go? Is he double bluff Nurse? Slower ball again. Misses out. Misses out. Was on the fuller end, but does well. This is such a good learning experience for someone like Subramanian. And he's talked about the fact that his first, like he was playing a local game in Atlanta, and then his first minor league game, bowled his very first delivery to now teammate Kenar Lewis. And you talked about how just the levels of minor league cricket are, and I don't think he'd ever manage that he'd be bowling to Ashley Nurse. Slower one again, pushed out down the ground, won't take the single. Yeah, don't take the single. Ashley Nurse wants all the strike he can get. Doesn't want to put Vinith in any pressure. And this is good stuff here from the young man. Again, came back from Canada just a couple of weeks ago, started school. But he's over here at the Buttonveers Cricket Complex, putting in together a good bowling innings for his side. Pulled into the leg side. That's going to be 6. That one just missing the length. Subramanian tried the back of the arm, slower ball. And all he could find was the middle of the bat for Ashley Nurse. Nurse picks up 6 more. Just take a look at this. He's missed the length. Just dragged it down, really. And Nurse quick to respond onto the back foot in a hurry. Finds 6 runs. Moves the total to 89 with the delivery to go here in this 19th over. Again, just trying to claw to 3 figures. 1 point. It was 26 for 6, this score. So good fight back here from the Lions. Pulled straight back. And they'll pick up a single on this final delivery of the 19th over. At the end of 19, it's 90 for 8. Last over here in this first match of this incredible Saturday. Still a very good afternoon now to everyone joining us here at the Buttermere Cricket Complex. 1 over to go, 90 for 8. This has been a really good fight back from the Fort Lauderdale Lions. They were 30 for 7 at one point, 30 for 7 in the 11th over after Nasir Hussain has 2 wickets in that over. And we're talking about, can they get to 50? Now, Ashley Nurse can get them to triple digits. He's 34 from 30 with 3 4s and 2 6s. Can he find himself the boundaries now? As we get to see Jeremy Gordon come back with ball in hand, and he has been so good. Jeremy Gordon, 3 overs, 11 runs, 2 wickets. Nurse would love 11 plus runs in this over. Get themselves to 100. Short. And this is what he did from yesterday to Jeremy Gordon. Hit a length and it was hard to hit. We saw Abhiram Bolasetti swiping and missing. We saw Everett Dyer swiping and missing on a similar length delivery from the same end of the ground in the same situation. The death bowling has been fantastic for the Fire. And you could hear the extra effort in that delivery as well. The grunt from Gordon. Short again, this time pulled. No fielder out there, deep backward square. Won't run. Nurse has got some work to do to come back for 2. And he'll come back for 2 comfortably in the end. As they continue to, again, look towards that 100 mark. Does give you some momentum going into that next innings. Just to have 3 figures on the board. There's just some mental thing about just 2 figures versus 3 figures. And even if it's a low total, yes. On this wicket, even where 140 was defended, you wouldn't expect a score of 100, even 90 to be defended. 90 to 100, that's just not an acceptable total on this ground, but it just gives your bowlers something to look at. Again, I think you're going to get to see the real fight, the character of a team when they're really down in the dumps. That's when you can really find how a team will respond. Oh, well done by Jamar Hamilton. I think it's jumped up after it's past Ashley Nurse. I don't know if that's a bad call there. I think that's a decent call from the umpire. It looked to be about, I think it would be 1 for the over. I think it's gone shoulder and head and climbed late. Jamar Hamilton's done really well to get a hand. Yeah, it's been just given 1 for the over. I think that's the correct call as well. They didn't deem the last one 1 for the over. And this one, I think, did pass between the shoulder and the head and just add the extra bit of carry past Ashley Nurse there. Hamilton does well. Massive, massive goodbye, Ashley Nurse. We've seen this a time or two. That one's climbed all the way. That's a huge 6. I'm not sure why Gordon's gone away from the back of the length delivery. The back of the length has worked so well for Jeremy Gordon. He went full, and that one fell right in the slot of Ashley Nurse. 98 for 8. That one's beat him. That one's beat him. Slowed it down. Rolled the fingers over it. That's where you want to operate. On a length. Trust the wicket. So he's done so well. And Jamar Hamilton's done really well to collect that one. Bounced right in front of him. And Nurse and Hamilton have just been exchanging words the entire time. Some of it's been fun. I'm sure some of it's been a little bit of trash. But here we go. 1 delivery left. Can the Fort Lauderdale Lions at least get the Atlanta Fire to chase 100? No. Doesn't get bad on ball. And that's going to be a dot. Some mind games there from Nurse and Hamilton, and a hug as the innings comes to a close. The Fort Lauderdale Lions, they make it to 20 overs, but they only get to 98. They're 98 for 8, and big part of that is because of Isaiah Raja and Ashley Nurse. Isaiah Raja, 24 from 31, and Ashley Nurse, 42 from 36. Not out. Everyone else in the single digits for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. For the Fire, Cornet Dry, 2 wickets at an economy of 1.67, 3 overs, 5 runs. Jeremy Gordon, 4 overs, 19 runs and 2 wickets. Nasir Hussain, 3 overs, 7 runs and 2 wickets. And a wicket for Obis Pinar in his 3 overs, going for just 17 runs. Clinical from the Atlanta Fire. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here at the Putnam Veers Cricket Complex to bring you the second innings where the Atlanta Fire look to chase 99. Early. Bat on ball. It's in the air. But I think he's cleared the infield with ease. Yeah, he has. And this one's going to run all the way to the boundary. This is good batting. In the air. Taken. Cornet dry. Uses the extra bit of bounce. And the big quick. He's got his man. And this one run through third man. Is hit him in the glove. Turn down. Good turn down from Tajrine Chanderpaul. Jamar Hamilton. He's always active. Always active. Scoreboard ticking. Fuller in the air. Who wants it? Taken. Obis Pinar this time. 2 in the over for Cornet Dry. No celebration from him. He's just doing what he always does. On the body. Caught. And given. There seemed to be a noise on the way through. No contention from Chanderpaul. And Jeremy Gordon's on the trick. A couple outside off this time. That one's taking a little bit more. And he's gone. Don Zahaya's got to go. Not wanting to move. Extinguished with some good bowling. What a delivery. Big shout from Jamar Hamilton. Big shout. And says no. And they'll get the run in the end. Jamar Hamilton can't believe that it hasn't been called. He left it alone. Individuals. This one hit. Nowhere to go. Aaron Jones has a chance to run him out. It's close. Given. Achilles Brown can't quite believe it. He was halfway down the track. An underarm throw gets him. Big shout. Given. Nasser Hussain. He strikes straight away. And the Fort Lauderdale Lions are tumbling at the moment. Stout on strike. Big shout again. Finger up again. Stout has to go. Was on the back foot. And maybe that's why the height wasn't that big of an issue for the umpire there. Back to back. Hussain, he's on a hat trick now. Haven't figured it all out. Reverse sweep works. Meets it on the full. Gets it behind point. Will find 4 runs. Only the second boundary of the innings, ladies and gentlemen. So explosive. Into the leg side. Cries of catch it. Won't be, and will be another boundary. Isaiah Raja, he's figured out how he wants to bat. 2 boundaries in 3 balls. Back into Raja. A reverse sweeps again. This time gets all of it. Will find 4 runs for it. Does well. It was in the air, but it got just the elevation needed. Shooters in those regions. Pulled. Has he got all of it? Yeah, Ashley Nurse big, strong. No chance for the man out there at long on. Picked the length early, got back early. That's the key. Another big boundary. Goes through covers, gets this one brilliantly, well placed. It'll be 4 runs. Really through extra. Down the leg side. Gonna be a boundary. Gonna be 4. Can't bowl that. Just missed the variation there. Wicket and bounce straight up in the air. Hit into the leg side. Can Cornet Dry get a hold of it? Yeah, he can. Cornet Dry. He's big, he's tall, and he's got hands that never drop anything. Slower ball. Cream through covers. Fielder there. Can't stop it. Went for a one-handed stop. It ends up being 4 runs. The second time we've seen Nurse go through covers. Pulled into the leg side. That's going to be 6. That one just missing the length. Subramanian tried the back of the arm slower ball. And all he could find was the middle of the bat. Massive. Goodbye, Ashley Nurse. We've seen this a time or two. That one's climbed all the way.
You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.
So welcome back here to the Prudhomme Cricket Complex. It's a whole vibe today on Labor Day weekend. DJ in place, crowds in place, and the Fort Lauderdale Lions, though, they're not vibing with the way the game has gone so far. 99, that's the total that they'll have to defend. The men walking into the middle now, and they have a lot of work to do, but for Ken R. Lewis and company, the man on your screen there, just 99 runs to get. So a chance for someone to hit 100, but the other person wouldn't get the chance to score. But what it's about is the Fire have a chance to really boost the run rate. Keep up with Baltimore after 2 losses yesterday. So for Ken R. Lewis, the big man, we talked about it, not a lot of runs for him to score. So he's got some work. No, not real work to do today, but has a chance to stick in for a long period of time and see the ball for a while. The Fort Lauderdale Lions, they'll need some incredible bowling. And it'll have to come and start in the form of Vinit Garci. We've already talked about his record there. Vinit there on your screen. He's got to continue to do what he's done in his 5 innings in minor league cricket. 10 wickets to his name at an economy of 8. He's got to slip in place early. Ken R. Lewis, he's so good down the ground. He's been able to hit a couple of shots, had a couple cameos, hasn't had a long, big innings. This is an opportunity for him to really spend some time. Again, there's a balance here. You ideally would want to finish it off in the 12th over at the latest, 15 maybe, but if you can get it off any quicker than 12, you're going to help that run rate in a massive way. Here we go, first delivery into Ken R. Lewis. Tucked into the leg side, no run on offer there. And what's going to be key for the Fort Lauderdale Lions is the fielding. They've got to be so good in the field. They got to make the Atlanta Fire work for everything. Especially that man, Kennar Lewis. Don't give him anything free. Can't let him just ease into shots. Make him earn the runs. Left alone. That's good bowling. That's good bowling there from Vinit. Vinit there. Again, someone who is amongst this team full of international experience. One of the locals. And that's the beauty of minor league cricket. It pairs these international stars with some local talents and allow them to really grow and express themselves. Well down the leg side. That'll be runs down the leg side. It'll be wide. And Kennar Lewis could come back for 2. They do elect to do so. They go ahead and say no in the end. Yes, they do get it, in fact. Apologies for some of the confusion going on. They do get back in the end for that second run. And with that second run, Kennar Lewis gets back on strike. Again down the leg side. Can't afford it. Can't afford it. Cannot be having those. Zachary behind the stumps has to be key. Zachary's a tour, and again, everybody has to just be so good. You can't just give any freebies away. And that's the one struggle for Fort Lauderdale right now. Oh, that's a good delivery. That's a good delivery there. It's met Zachary well high, and Vinit showing a real ability at the moment. Again, when he's got the line and length right, he's been really good. It's just those deliveries of wides, they just ease a lot of pressure when there's not a lot of pressure to begin with. You have to make them earn every run. Can't gift them any runs. Just 95 left. Outside edge. Has it carried a slip? I think it has. I think it has, yeah. Off to the races. Kennar Lewis has got to go. It's a good catch out there. It slips. And Kennar Lewis can't quite believe it. But really big here for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Kennar Lewis there on your screen. He's got to go. Unfortunate go for him. Unable to score some runs. The new man joining Zain Zayed now is Rishi Pandey. The exact start the Fort Lauderdale Lions would have wanted, however, because of the fact that you're getting, because of the fact that you get rid of Kennar Lewis. But Rishi Pandey's no slouch either. Someone who's so good in minor league cricket. He's so good through minor league cricket and everything that he's done. He was such a fixture last season. I was surprised not to see him in the 11 last week, but got into the 11 last week, had a big innings. It's a big part of their win yesterday. Out early today. Starts off with runs straight away through the covers. We'll pick up one of them. And the Fort Lauderdale Lions will have to do just that. Wickets early and often, and losing the ball almost there was the fielder. But again, a dream start there to get that wicket of Kennar Lewis. And again, that wicket's an important one in the context of the game. They got to take these early. Zain Zayed now, we got his first look at the middle, first look at the crease. Zain Zayed, he's just struggled so far in minor league cricket, but he's going to need to put together an innings today. Vinit has done the job, got the early wicket. It's gone a touch expensive with the runs on the board, however. Oh, beats him through. Good work there from Vinit. And at the end of the first over, it's 5 for 1.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, तेरे घर लाने का।
The Fort Lauderdale Lions, they got that early wicket of Kennard Lewis, a big one for them. But they've got to keep the wickets coming and make sure they keep on coming. The new man with ball in hand is Kevin Stout. Kevin Stout is known for what he's done in the West Indies and the Barbados and in the West Indies A side as well. 7 innings of minor league cricket, 14 wickets, and he'd love to pick up a couple more of those, get beyond the average of 2 a game. And I'll start off to Rishi Pandey, the young man, and again, what an experience that it's been for him. Highly talented, highly coveted individual, Pandey. Deep backward square, deep third in, first out, first delivery with a slip in place. Well wide, the slip has to go and try to keep that one down. Ends up being one off the wide. Can't afford these, can't afford these. We talked about it, the Lions would have to get off the mark hot and just haven't done it yet. They've just been loose early. They've had to be tight, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised maybe try a spinner in the power play. You have to take wickets. This game is not going to get to 20 overs. You'd be lucky right now to get it to 12, 15 overs. So take advantage early. Take wickets early. Have to do that. This one cuts straight to backward point. No run on offer for Zain Zayed. And for Zain Zayed, again, has to find a way back amongst the runs. Had a decent innings yesterday. Didn't look at his fluent best self. And it seems to just be a technique issue. He's just been struggling with the collapsing of that back leg. We heard Faisal Shah talk about it. Another wide, another huge wide. Well done there by Zachary Satur. But again, for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, you have an opportunity to put pressure early. You took the wicket of Kennard Lewis. You get another wicket here. It's a whole new ball game. But what's happened now is that their runs are coming without having to score them. They've just given away extras. It's quite the opposite to what the Atlanta Fire did earlier. They made the Lions work for every single delivery, every single run, every single dot ball. It's a good delivery there. They're looking for this quick single. Throw comes in, and they get there in the end. Getting good to see those singles through point. Talking to Rishi Pandey earlier, said that the singles, they were finding them yesterday in that region. They were quite surprised, but they did it quite well. I'll do it once again here today as Pandey will get back on to strike. Yeah, for the Lions, it's going to be about being tight, creating some pressure, and taking wickets. Fuller, well dealt with there from Rishi Pandey. Seeing the movement away. Picks up a couple of runs. It's a thicker outfield. Didn't middle it, but it's good batting from Rishi Pandey. Saw the length early. The line and the movement from Kevin Stout. You can see he's moving it away quite a bit, and fairly similar to Jeremy Gordon. The amount he's moving it away, and he likes to hit the deck. He just hasn't found the line Jeremy Gordon did early. Better, but down the leg side. Try to be straighter, but he's given wides. A lot of wides here in the over. Not a good start for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Again, when you don't have runs on the board, you can't afford to monkey around, for lack of a better term. And right now they're doing just that. Haven't found it. Haven't found it at all. Gifting runs at the moment are the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Wide again. Wide again. Kevin Stout with a look to the heavens because he can't quite believe what he's doing right now. Hands on the hips as well. frustrated. He has to stay within himself now, Stout. Can't get too carried away. Back your skills. You know, I think beyond just a battle of two good cricket teams, you have a battle of two really good jerseys here. And my buddy Nate Hayes always loves a good jersey. It's kind of rubbed off on me in that way. Always love the fire red and black. But this Fort Lauderdale look, enjoying it. What we're not enjoying is the wides, at least from the Lions camp. The fire, they'll take those in spades, and they're coming in spades right now. Can't seem to escape the over. Can Kevin Stout? Should he try changing the angle? I think that's the next thing you got to try. With as much as he's moving it away, with the angle of the wrists. Does he try coming around the wicket to the right-hander? And, you know, brings often, when you're a bowler, you don't want to think about the wide line. That's when the ball starts to drift. Better delivery, pushed down the ground. Find one. You hear quite often about, you want to talk about what you want to focus on. Don't say don't bowl wide. You want to rather say let's bowl towards the stumps. You know, that goes for a lot of things in life. You hear about what they tell skiers. You know, see those skiing videos and how they're able to navigate through all the trees, because they're not saying let's not hit a tree. It's all right, let's follow the snow, let's follow the path, because now you're focusing on the path. And so something similar needs to be done here to Kevin Stout. That one's going to be another wide. No, yes, hands go up, hands go up, hands on hips. Now for Stout, can't get out of the over, can't get out of the over. Extras are now chasing Stout wherever he bowls, asking the umpire what's happened. Rishi Pandey is not a tall individual, but I think is also just well left. Moving into the double figures and well beyond now. 16 runs on the board. And we've only seen a couple of them come off the bats. This could be another wide. Yeah, given. And again, Kevin Stout, it's the look back to, it's close. It's a close call. It's not a clear, definitive one that's well over. It wasn't like it was on the next wicket. The umpire felt good about it, but as a bowler, as soon as you whip your head around looking for the wide, I think it also gives a tell to the umpire that you might even think it's wide yourself. Kevin Stout can't escape this second over. A lucrative one for the Atlanta Fire. And don't really have to get bad on ball at the moment. Yes, another one. It's another one. Kevin Stout, he's just put his hands up. This is what can happen. And again, the swing is what's killing him. It's the angle across. Does he try the cross seam? Does he try coming around the stumps? I think that's the next question. With the angle, you can brush it across the right-hander, but you can't afford to keep bowling wides. Again, what ended up being a tense start for the Fire with that initial wicket, Kennar Lewis, has just faded away. They only picked up 5 in that first over, but 13 runs in this over, courtesy of a bunch of extras. In the air, could be taken. Yeah, there you go. Kevin Stout, after all of that, ends up delivering the wicket ball. Rishi Pandey just looking to play down the ground. Inner half of the bat in the air, floated to the man sitting at mid-on. Simple take, subdued celebrations, but a wicket nonetheless. So things happening here for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, and right here you see it. Again, just looking to drive it, just picked out the fielder, floated it up. Rishi Pandey going to be disappointed with himself there, and that's also what happens when you tend to bowl a lot of extras. You can just surprise a batter with one on the stumps, and did so just there. One delivery left here, 19 runs on the board. Just 80 left to get as the captain, Aaron Jones, struts out into the middle. He's going to be looking for some runs in his own right. Has been a little bit of a dry patch here in minor league cricket, so he'll look to start. And this is a situation that, again, when you're a batter that might not be in the smoothest of form, it's a situation that can help you out. Not a lot of runs to go get. Yes, you want to do it relatively quickly, but you can just take your time. Not a lot of pressure. You just play your game the way you want to play it. Pick the gaps. Again, this wicket, just a little bit of stick still left. Could just be a little bit of moisture left in the wicket. Kevin Stout, with all the wides, with all the extras, he's picked up a wicket, but has to get out of the over now. Get out of the over now, Kevin. Can't afford to give any more extras. Maybe hold the ball cross seam. He's elected to keep the angle, but Aaron Jones, again, his name says it all. USA vice captain in all formats. Captain of the Atlanta Fire. Pulled away. Good start for him to get some runs to end this second over. At the end of 2, it's an eventful one. It's 20 for 2. Here we go. To continue, it's Vinnett with ball in hand. Got the wicket to Kennard Lewis. Just went for 5 runs, so it hasn't been easy to score off him. Slip still in place. We saw Kevin Stout get a lot of movement, but it's more just the angle. It wasn't just it off the surface. Vinnett was getting some slight movement away. We'll start off to the Fire captain and Aaron Jones. Very clinical with his plans in the field. Can he be clinical with the bat? Left alone to start things off. Again, situation Aaron Jones can see himself in. It's just a third over. Not a lot of runs to go get. And we're gifted a lot of runs that last over. 15 of them. Just a couple came off the bat. It's all extras. That's been killing the Fort Lauderdale Lions. It'll kill any side. Coupling that with the poor batting display. Aaron Jones comes down at Vinnett and he responds well. Saw the movement, spotted it. Didn't give him any room. Vinnett has been impressive through minor league. Again, we've talked about it. 10 wickets and an economy of 8. You might say maybe a touch on the expensive side, but bowling in the power play, you have an economy of 8. You'll take that. When you're able to consistently take wickets, he's taking 2 wickets in an innings. That's the average he's averaging out to. Right there, right there, right there. No, no. Says no, does the umpire. It's a good shout. It's good bowling. Might have just been going down leg. Would want to take a look at this. Was he outside the off stump? Questions. Was there bat involved too? I think there might have just been a bit of bat. I think that's the biggest key because it looked like it hit in line. But I think Aaron Jones just got a sliver on it. Enough to save it there. Bowled him, cleaned him up. Last one. The bat saves Aaron Jones. This time he gets through, and the middle pole's knocked down. The Atlanta Fire captain's run of poor form continues, and Vinnett continues his streak of 2 wickets in an innings. Want to get more of those, though. And there is the distraught Atlanta Fire captain, and is there something in the cards here? Vinnett is just making this game interesting. Vinnett the Garcia, remember that name. Aaron Jones, just undone. Just undone. Maybe a bit of late movement, but middle pole goes. And wickets are falling in every over now. There's something on the cards. Obis Pinar, he's in. The new man to the Atlanta Fire. A different role for him today. Has to stick in. Has to stay put. But right now, Vinnett the Garcia, he has looked phenomenal. The beauty of local talent, the beauty of minor league cricket. It explores this, what happens when you put these domestic players up with some of these guys who play international cricket and all around the world. Obis Pinar, member of Major League Cricket, part of the Washington Freedom, was given a hitter role to come in late. Only bowled one over, didn't quite go his way, but he's such an important figure in minor league cricket, so good. Yesterday was my player of the match for his 40 runs, his wicket taking. But right now, it's not about scoring quickly. It's just about sticking in and scoring. We'll get runs straight away. Looks like it'll be 4 of them over cover. Yeah. Not a good length. It was short. It was wide. It was always going to be punished. And Obis Pinar is far too good to miss out on that. Just take a look at this. Short, wide, helpful. No fielders out there. So he said, yes, thank you very much. I'll have a slice. It's a good way for Pinar to get himself off the mark. And again, this is what the Fort Lauderdale Lions have just struggled with. Anytime they've gotten that wicket, they've gotten some momentum, they've given it back. Poor bowling has led to that. Got to get back to the line of length. That's better. No run on offer there. Good way to close the over. It's another eventful over. A wicket falling in it. Something in the cards. Don't go anywhere. 3 overs gone. 24 for 3.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save. Because rewards come first.
Here we go. Starts off with a good delivery there. Kevin Stout found the line of length. Zain Zayed has been off strike for a while. Again, for Zayed, it's a good opportunity to get himself back into the flow of things. Find himself back in the shots that made him such a formidable force in minor league cricket in years 1 and 2. Had 100 for the Atlanta franchise. That one's a wide. Back to it is Kevin Stout. He's got a fine line and length. Can't give these freebies away. A fourth of the way there are the Atlanta Fire. Just needing 75 more runs. Make that 74. Wide again, down the leg side. Kevin Stout, what are you doing? What are you doing here? Gotta find. You're such a coveted bowler. Talk about it. We've talked about it earlier. 14 wickets in 7 innings. He's a wicket taker. But right now, he's just been giving extras in a consistent manner. When he's been on a legal delivery, he's been good. Cut away. Can't bowl there. Won't miss out. Will Zain Zayed will pick up 4. Again, short, wide, not well directed. Was always going to get punished to the boundary. That's far too easy, and the struggles for Kevin Stout continue. Try to pull the length back to negate this movement. But Zayed got on top of the bounce early and cut that one away. Better. That's where you want to operate if you're Stout. The movement that you get, if you can operate around there, you can just create some problems in the channel. And this is that previous boundary. Again, just far too short, far too wide. And a batter of Zain Zayed's class was never going to miss out on that. Still a slip and play for Stout. Outside edge. It'll get through that cover region. Calls for 2. Pinar turns back. Zayed. Again, already 30 runs on the board. Remember, the Fort Lauderdale Lions were 30 for 7 in the 11th over. And you can look at that two ways. Yeah, it's a poor display from the top, but they've done well to get to 98 for 8. Finish out 9 overs. It's a tall task. And then get to 98 runs as well from where they were. Again, not much to speak of, but some fight shown by the Fort Lauderdale Lions is changing the field. Third man inside the ring. Long off in place. Slower ball, well down the leg side. Does well. Does Zachary Sathur to just get a glove on it. Wide and an extra. Trying to bowl the variation, but that's what happens to the pace bowler. When you're missing your stock ball, the variation just becomes really a weapon against yourself. You just can't control it. You just, especially when you try to go back of the hand, it's just a lot more. And you can't bowl the stock delivery. Can't bowl those variations. Slower down the leg side again. Kevin Stout, he's struggling. He is struggling. Again, you knew he took the wicket early in that second over, but you're just curious as to the decision to give him the second over with him struggling with the ball. That's new. Could have maybe considered bringing him back in later, but Thajinraj Chanderbal has backed him and hasn't panned out quite yet. That time Yorkshire gets a hand to it, and they'll get a single. It's a good stop there from Kevin Stout, but runs flowing. Extras off the bat. Doesn't matter. But right now for Kevin Stout, has to figure it out. Long off in place for Obis Pinar. Again, was greeted with a delivery that was short, that was wide. Down the leg side again. Misses a slower ball again. Kevin Stout not at his best today. And again, just hard to build pressure. You took that wicket, yes. Do you need the slip in place? That's the question. When it's not really a thing that matters when you're conceding runs in the fashion in which you are. Can't set a field for the extras. Down the leg side. No, given straight away. No hesitation. And Obis Pinar has to go. This is what he's done. Even after all the extras, he gets one on stumps. And he's been given out. Obis Pinar is just having a word with the umpire. Feels like that one was headed down the leg side. Can't quite believe that decision. We'll take another look at this, but again, no hesitation from the umpire. It's hit the back leg. I think it's probably headed down the leg side. We've seen his balls, especially the slower one, tail down. Again, the umpire has the best vantage point. We're sitting at an angle, but that call, just curious. I thought maybe sliding down. The umpire disagrees with me. And Obis Pinar has to go. Nasser Hussain now. He'll make his way out into the middle at the end of the fourth over. 36 for 4. Furious was Obis Pinar on that one, but the Fort Lauderdale Lions are feeling like they can get back into this match. 36 for 4, not fairly dissimilar to where the Fort Lauderdale Lions were, just a difference in the overs in which they got to that. 30 for 7 in the 11th versus 36 for 4 in the 4th. And the reason for that is the extras. That's what's been the key. You talk about the extras for the Atlanta Fire. They gave up 12 extras. Still, you would want to tighten things up. Already in 4 overs, the Fort Lauderdale Lions have given up 20 extras. Only 16 runs have come off the bat. And so if you take away the extras, it's the same score for the same amount of wickets, 16 for 4, just 2 overs earlier. But the extras have hurt the Fort Lauderdale Lions and has been the reason why this game has floundered away. Again, not the runs on the board, and so you'll blame the bats for that. But the bowlers had an opportunity, and one in particular, Kevin Stout, hasn't had the day that he'll want to remember. But with all that being said, 4 wickets are down. And Zain Zayed still in the middle. He's been joined by Nasser Hussain. And be facing this first delivery. on the stumps and straight to short cover. This is tight bowling that you're going to need to continue with. Bennett Garcek is continuing the ball in hand, and I actually do like giving him the third over. He's taken 2 wickets. Go back to him. Use him. Now the question to me is, Kevin Stout going to get a third over? Yes, he's taken 2 wickets, but he's giving away extras. A lot of them, in fact. Big shout. Says no. It's headed down. Picks up a single, and he'll bring Nasser Hussain on strike. He'll get his first look at the ball here. Again, asking all the right questions is Vinit Garcek. If you can keep doing this, attacking the stumps, you're just thinking one could stay low, get through an edge, get in between bat and pad. You just keep the batters honest when you're close to stumps. Again, not a huge amount of movement for Garcek, but he's just used his angle well. And he's bowled the right lines and the right lengths. Into Hussain. Field remains unchanged. Pushed gracefully into the offside. Really well done. The first bits of width given. And able to pick up 2 runs. Elegantly driven into the offside. And again, we just talked about the line has been so good from Garcek. Can't be that wide. Not enough movement to be that wide, especially with the length like that. That's really a half volley to introduce someone to the crease. Hussain coming with some international experience from Bangladesh. That's a better line. That's the better line. That's where you keep the batters rooted. You don't let them free up there. Again, already 39 runs on the board. Just 60 left to go get. 4 wickets are down, though. So, again, don't go anywhere on this Labor Day weekend. Still plenty in the cards. Matches starting around us. The Baltimore Royals will get things going against the Atlanta Lightning. And the Under-15 National Championships of the USA happening simultaneously behind us. Pushed into the offside, no run. It's good bowling from Garcek. He hasn't given up a lot of extras. He's kept everything on the line and length, and apart from the couple deliveries with width, it's been hard to push and play at him. Fort Lauderdale Lions will have to keep the energy up. Don't want to get complacent. Can't afford to zone out or fade out. Want to keep this game boring. Good bowling from Garcek. Good work there. He's been special. He's been phenomenal. Making a name for himself as we close the 5th over. 39 for 4.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Kevin Stout not given the ball. I think that's the right decision there. Instead, in favor of some international experience and some spin, Ashley Nurse into the attack. Ashley Nurse, someone who, again, comes with that international experience, playing for the West Indies, known for what he does, spinning the ball into the right-hander. Short, punished. Not the start Ashley Nurse would have wanted. And a welcome way for Zain Zayed to pick up a boundary. Again, we've talked about his ability and liking to collapse that back leg and help it into the leg side. That delivery was the perfect one for it. All he needed to do there will just help it over the top. In the power play, just the two men outside the circle, deep mid-wicket and long on. Was always going to flutter once he got it behind square. So plenty of power there for Zayed. You take a look at this. Again, just down the leg side, far too easy. Zayed made it look easy as well. Again, looks to do it. Again, gets it through the infield. And again, will pick up a couple of runs. Not a boundary this time. Was a little bit quicker through the air. That's why he wasn't able to get quite everything on it. But if you're Ashley Nurse here, there's a tactic brewing. Straighter one on middle. Figures that that's quick through the air. Thinks Zayed might just try to play the same type of shot. And could falter there. Well done. A good adjustment from Ashley Nurse and Zain Zayed. Didn't look to do anything aggressive there. Just kept it down. Quicker through the air. Fuller in length as well. Short again. Into the leg side again. Bobble. Taken. Good catch there at backward square leg. We just talked about it. How Zayed could just get himself in trouble if he tried to continue to play that shot. This time, though, Ashley Nurse takes the wicket. It was a good catch there at backward square. For a moment, you just didn't know if he could get it. Zayed frustrated. Take a look. Just helped it across. It was a good bobble. It was a good catch. Good take. There. I believe it's Brian Gale who's taking that one. And another twist in this tail. Don't go anywhere. No rain at the Buttonville Cricket Complex. Just sun, blue skies. And for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, they're fighting back right now. 5 down are the Atlanta Fire. And Zayed has to go. 2 new men in the middle. Nasser Hussain will be joined by his wicket keeper, Jamar Hamilton. Will have some work to do. Halfway through, roughly. Still about 50 runs to go. 54 of them. But 5 wickets are down halfway through the batting lineup. And the Atlanta Fire, that's not how they envision their batting innings to go either. Again, we've talked about how they feel like they haven't been at their best, but they're still winning games. Well, this is not the best we've seen from the Fire. Their bowling was superb today. You could argue they let up a little bit, but they were just all the way through and looked good for my liking. It's just the batting hasn't been there quite yet for the Fire. They're missing 1 bat. And Rishi Pandey has been good for them, but right now, the Fort Lauderdale Lions, they're pouncing. Cut well. We'll pick up a couple of runs. Could be 1. They might push for 2. No, sent back is Hussain, but off the mark straight away. Thing we've seen for all the Fire batters. They'll get in. They'll score quickly. And Ashley Nurse to continue here. Now get his look at the off-spinning counterpart of Nasser Hussain, who picked up so many wickets in that 11th over. 2 of them. Cut straight to the fielder. No run on offer. A good over here. Good comeback after that initial boundary from Zain Zayed. The power play's done and dusted. 5 wickets coming in. It's 46 for 5. Spin operating from both ends now, as the Atlanta Fire need to refuel with some Lakshmi Rice. That's what the Fort Lauderdale Lions did. That's why they're getting in a position where they're back in the match. We get to see some leg spin. I believe it's Isaiah Raja. Yeah, it is. Leg spinner out of Trinidad and Tobago. Opts out of that first delivery. But for Isaiah Raja, his innings with the bat was key alongside Ashley Nurse to get the Lions to a total of 98. Now can he take some key wickets with the ball? Start things off to Jamar Hamilton. Cut really well. Flies off the bat and a race away to the boundary. Even through a thick outfield, there was no stopping that. Jamar Hamilton, we know the quality. Highly regarded in minor league cricket. A lot of people thought he should have been picked in that draft for Major League Cricket. Got on the back foot quick. Took advantage of the width. Picks up 4 straight away. Again, that delivery's run all along the carpet as well. That's the key there. There's not a lot of risk in that shot. When you talk about the Ashley Nurse, when he was hit for that 4, tailing down the leg side, but you knew Zayed likes that shot, and you could take advantage. This is just good batting. Again, look to cut. Again, in that gap. Cover, though, this time more around for that shot. Just pick up a single to get Nasser Hussain on strike. The 50's on the board now for the Atlanta Fire. Just 48 runs required to get them over the line. So it's a halfway stage truly in terms of the wickets and in terms of the runs. Time is never going to be a factor in this match. Good delivery there. Like Obus Pinar, a tall man is Isaiah. Someone who takes it in from such a height, even where it's slower, it's still coming downwards all the time. Short pushed, but quick onto the body, racing on to Hussain there. And Hussain is good for this. He's able to stick in. He can hit when he needs to, but I think the natural game and the tendency is to just push along the ground. And it's made for this kind of situation, why I think why he was sent ahead of Jamar Hamilton in the first place. Flights it up, defended away from Hussain. Again, no hurry to score runs, don't need to be. The required run rate well under 4. So it's just about keeping the wickets intact, and Hussain can do that from one end of the wicket as long as Hamilton can score from the other. Would like to see his turn of his wrist into the leg side for 1, however. Does so there. Racing the keeper. Jamar Hamilton was well home, off in a hurry. Like we mentioned, turning the wrist. Picks up a single to close out that 7th over. 52 for 5. Here we go here. And this Butterfield Cricket Complex. Ashley Nurse to continue. Big turn there. Good signs for the spinners. Can take advantage of that. I'll pick up a single straight away. It's good work there from Ashley Nurse. Good delivery. Spinning back in. We'll now have Jamar Hamilton on strike. Again, turns it into the leg side. There is a single opportunity there. We'll see if Ashley Nurse looks to plug it or if he's going to continue to let these batters turn their wrists. Try to get that leading edge back to him. Turning the other direction that time from Nurse, but well done. As they're saying, just pushing it into the offside. Again, this is all you need if you're the Atlanta Fire. Again, that's why those extras just kill the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Had they been able to control the extras, they could have just kept things intact. Build a little bit of pressure, but the Fire, there's no pressure right now on their batters. Flighted, hit straight, it's in the air, fielder's coming underneath it. Taken! That time it's the captain, Thedgenrine Chanderbal, who takes the catch, and the 6th wicket falls. Ashley Nurse gets his man, tempting Jamar Hamilton, almost teasing him with the slower one. And Hamilton falls for the trap, and Chanderbal was never going to drop that one. It's a mouth-watering affair here, and this is why the table has turned, and the game's not over. Again, the flight, it's slower, daring Jamar Hamilton to go over the top, and he's just picked out Thedgenrine Chanderbal. And when you have a guy like Jamar Hamilton, understands the situation is to wait it out, but when you gift him a ball like that, similar to Ashley Nurse, he's going to want to take advantage and go big. Cornet Dry now makes his way out into the middle, and a chase that's just become rather interesting. It's 55 for 6. The Atlanta Fire just need 44 runs. They're no short on time. They can take as much time as they want. The issue becomes is that the wickets are starting to fall. Starting to tumble now. And Cornet tries to make sure he doesn't fall into a trap. The big quick, who was exceptional today, an economy of 1.67. A big reason why the total is only 98. But he is someone who does like to use the long levers to go down the ground. Likes to play those little innovative scoops to find leg. Does he get in trouble playing to Ashley Nurse here? Has to make sure he keeps the balls ahead of him. Beyond Cornet Dry, you start scrapping the bottom of the barrel for your batting. Short, tucked into the leg side. Good work from Cornet to get off the mark. And now you can sense some pressure brewing. Again, Nasser Hussain still in the middle, but the batters who are left for the Atlanta Fire, not many to choose from in terms of people who have known for the bat. Emilio Ponzo can hold on to an end. Jeremy Gordon hits big. And then you're talking about Athinder Subramanian, who hasn't been asked to do a lot with the bat through minor league cricket. Ashley Nurse does the job in the over, takes the wicket. It's 56 for 6.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Starting to tense up here, the Butterbeers Cricket Center. As we've tensed up here in our little tennis, there's a bee flying around, trying not to anger it. But right now the Fire not trying to tempt fate. 56 for 6. As you see the Morsel Raptors getting into the middle, getting into their tents. They'll play the second game here. Isaiah Raja to continue. Flights it up, pushed down the ground. Good work from Cornet Dry. Again, singles all the way through. Don't need to do too much, the Atlanta Fire. There's plenty of time to score all these runs. It's just the wickets. Got to hold on to them. Nasser Hussain will do just that at one end of the ground. Can you get a partner to survive him at the other? Just pushed away from Nasser Hussain. Again, doesn't look too troubled. Would know about spin, would have played spin all of his life, would be very comfortable. Think about the Bangladeshi conditions that he grew up in, the amount of spinners that operate at a high level in the country. Runs it through third man nicely, should find a single and will. Again, that's just a sign of someone who understands spin, saw that it was flatter, rocked onto the back foot, saw a bit of width, and just opened the wrist in the face of the bat to run it through third. Now for Cornet Dry, again, task is simple. Don't need any big sixes. Just need runs. Don't need to get them in a fancy way either. Tucked into the leg side. Not a good line there from Isaiah Raja. Would want to be much closer to off stump. That's letting Cornet dry off the hook. It's full on the pads down the leg side. Was always going to result in a run there. Want to make them work for every single run. We've talked about that term today. Short run through third man nicely. Should at least be one, could be two. And they'll get it comfortably in the end. Nasser Hussain taking some responsibility in the innings. Moves the score to 61. Just 38 more required for the Atlanta Fire as they tick their way towards the finish line. An opportunity to boost the run rate. Won't be too big of a boost just because of the wickets that have fallen, but they've done it in plenty of time if they can just get over the line. Outside edge is going to run. Could run for 4. I think it's hauled up in the ground. They're going to have to run for this. Fielders lax out of it. Cornet dry wanted a third. No. They settle for no, but an outside edge. Isaiah Raja feels like he was done a disservice. Maybe he was, but that's just how luck goes. It goes with a side that has momentum. 9 overs gone, 63 for 6.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Ashley Nurse, the man on your screen, has made this a game. He's going to have to continue to do just that. Bowling into Cornet dry. Start things off. Again, Nurse picked up that early wicket. Those wickets in this previous over. Can he find a couple more? Needs 4 more to the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Just 36 runs to go and get. Big shout, big shout, big shout not given. I think there was 2 noises. Probably a bit of bat on that one. Yeah, that's what looks like it's been told to Ashley Nurse. But good start. Changing the angle on Cornet dry. A lot being put on the shoulders of Cornet dry. This one comfortably tucked into the leg side. No run on offer. However, they've packed that area for that reason, because he just wants to force the batters into an uncomfortable shot. Again, pushed into the leg side. Fielder there, does well. No run on offer. Kevin Stout able to do what he does in the field there. Hit him in an awkward area, but able to just give himself a couple of runs. Save a couple of runs there. Keeping the score at 63. Ashley Nurse building some pressure now. Can he force Cornet dry into a bad shot? On the pad, big shout, given, given. He's off to the races, Ashley Nurse, and Cornet dry has to go. Ashley Nurse, he's doing the trick there. You can see him telling his teammates that we're back in this game. Get behind me. Cornet dry on your screen. Upset, can't quite believe it. It's turned a good way back. It's beat the inner half of the bat, and it's good work from Ashley Nurse. And some pressure for the Atlanta Fire now. some pressure for the Atlanta Fire as the Buttonveers Cricket Complex has now just got a little bit eerie because now the Atlanta Fire, they have to send Amila Ponzo out into the middle. Cornet Dry was looking comfortable, was looking set, but Ashley Nurse has finished him off. And still 36 runs to get, just 3 wickets in hand. Can the Fort Lauderdale Lions pull something out of the hat here? Ashley Nurse, he's picked up wickets, picked up 3 of them, just gone for 11 runs. Now has Emilio Ponzo, who's known for his lusty blows, but now has to show off the straight defense. This one, they'll find a single on the way through. Ashley Nurse, not too happy about it, but he's asking all the right questions. Gets Nasser Hussain on strike. More importantly, did Emilio Ponzo. More importantly than getting off the mark straight away, Nasser Hussain can see out the last ball, can get a single here, get back on strike. You'll have to expect he needs to hit the majority of these remaining 35 runs if the Fire want to be on the other side. Big shout, big shout, big shout. Finger stays down, finger stays down. Good decision probably that time. And that'll close out the 10th over, 64 for 7. Well, the Fort Lauderdale Lions, they did what they needed to do. They refueled with some Lakshmi foods, and now they're back in to the mix here. 64 for 7, 35 runs needed to go get with just 3 wickets in hand. But Mila Ponzo on strike. Pushed into the offside, no run on offer. Going for that Yorker. Did Isaiah, but this is good here. Into the leg side, they'll go ahead, they'll pick up a single. They'll pick up that single there. This is tense here for the Atlanta Fire. Can they claim those remaining 34 runs, those last runs, those begging few runs? Short outside edge. Is going to run towards the boundary line. Won't quite get there. They're going to run it hard, though. And they'll pick up a couple of runs. It's good. Needed to get some runs on the board. Needed to find ways to get runs. Can they find the runs? Can they find the runs? 32 of them left to go get. Slip in place. Pushed into the offside. Cries of a single, but turned down in the end. Isaiah Raja has figured out the length. He's not giving them a hittable area. He's building pressure from this end. We talk about bowling in partnerships. That's what the Lions are doing with Raja and Nurse. Nurse has 1 over left, and you have to imagine he's going to bowl the next one. Into point, no run, no run. Even with the misfield, they can't get it. Danza Hyatt does enough. And Isaiah Raja, again, so big with the bat. He's doing it now with the ball. Pushed into the offside. No run on offer. Straight to the fielder. It's a good end to the over. It's a good over for the Fort Lauderdale Lions at 67 for 7.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
That man on your screen has changed the game. Ashley Nurse, 3 overs, 12 runs, 3 wickets. And take a look at this field here. Has a look at a slip and a leg slip. Straight down the ground. Cries of catch it. Chanderpal there. It's going to be a question of a 6 or was he in the line? It says he saved it there. Does the umpire. But Emilio Ponzo looking to go big once again. This one pushed straight. Nowhere to really go. Picked up a couple of runs there, and again, interested to see if that was a boundary or not. I think from live, it looked like he might have just been on the rope before he tossed it over. Pushed. It's a wide there from Ashley Nurse. Can't afford those. He's been so economical. He's searching for that wicket. He's searching for the wicket. Can he find it? Can he find it? Pushed into the leg side. Nowhere to go. Straight to mid-wicket inside the ring. Let's take a second look at this. This was the one that wasn't ruled a boundary. As we see a single taken, I think he stepped over the line before he's tossed it back. Again, the umpire's gone with the fielder's call, but I think he might have just stepped over. They get a single there on the way through. A big single, indeed. 70 for 7. They need 29 runs at 50 balls. It's not a question of the number of balls. It's a question of the number of the wickets. Leg slip in place. Defended away. Good defense. Good defense. Gets cheers from his home tent. Gets cheers from his side. Emilio Ponzo sees himself as a much better bat than the rest of us. Can he prove it? Into the leg side. Good single. It's a good single. He'll be on strike, but it's a good way for him to continue flow of runs that'll close out the 12th over. 71 for 7.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Run pass slip. It's pass slip. Picks up a single. Emilio Ponzo, what he would have wanted. Can't afford to give up any runs here. Ashley Nurse just closed out his spell. 4 over 16 runs, 3 wickets. This is the last one for Isaiah Raja, too. Hasn't taken a wicket, but he's delivered good pressure. Into the leg side. No run. No run. Tense stuff here at the Bottom Veers Cricket Complex on this fantastic Labor Day weekend. We thank you for joining us, as this match has just turned into something. Swept well. Should pick up a single out to deep backward square. This is the one thing that's plagued Isaiah Rajas when he's trying to go full. He's just straight down leg side. And it's been an easy place to get a single. If we could just get that delivery, maybe closer to that off stump, just would have a little bit more success. Can he find a wicket? Another question here is, who do the Fort Lauderdale Lions turn to? They've gone with these two spinners for 8 consecutive overs. Defended away, and I think that's something also the Atlanta Lightning would be eyeing. Just play these overs out. You get through these two, and then you talk about Vinit Degarce is the other bowler that's shown real promise. Other than that, no one has really been putting their hand up. Kevin Stout has taken some wickets, and maybe with the ball not being as new, could cut the extras. This time it's cut through the offside. They'll find one. You know, I think games like this, they're never going to be appealing to the scorecard. Never want to go through these, but they just show character of a team. For the Atlanta Fire, could have easily crumbled underneath the pressure of having wickets down. For the Fort Lauderdale Lions, could have crumbled under the fact that there's not runs on the board. What can I do? But both teams showing fight. Goes for the big sweep, big shout. It's definitely headed down leg, and that ball's headed towards the boundary. They should come two. They could push three. Fielders are not getting there. They should push the third. They'll get the third in the end as well. It's good running. Again, we talked about it. He struggled with the line, has Raja, when he's tried to go full. It's 3 leg bys to close out this 13th over, 77 for 7. So this becomes the question for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Where do they go with the ball? We saw 8 consecutive overs of spin featuring Ashley Nurse and Isaiah Raja. Vinit Degarce has been good with the ball in hand. Now the question becomes, who do they look at now? Is it going to be Kevin Stout? Again, so experienced, struggled with the controlling the swing, but Kevin Stout, highly rated, a lot of experience behind him, and that's why they've gone back to Kevin Stout. Now the ball is older, not going to swing as much, and I think he'll have much more control over it. And when he did get the deliveries into a legal area, he was bowling quite well. It was just the wides. We saw 20 extras through 4 overs, the majority from him. Changing the field, Kevin Stout. And again, we talk about for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, going to want to control the extras and going to want to keep things tight. Take this wicket. Can they take a wicket? If they can get Nasir Hussain out, it puts so much pressure on Amila Ponzo and then the Subramanian, Jeremy Gordon, just because you don't have that recognized bat out there. Nasir Hussain, known for the exploits with the ball, but he is someone you consider an actual bat. Here we go. Kevin Stout taking a long time to set this field. He's going to recheck the run-up as well. A slow start to this over. Tense stuff here. Both sides feeling it. Really, you can almost cut it with a butter knife. Feels very, very quiet. Neither side really knows which way this game's going to go. Here we go. Kevin Stout just stays inside. He's been struggling with the wides and just want to keep his eyes on the stumps. Don't focus on the wides. We brought up the skiing example earlier. They tell skiers, focus on the path. Don't focus on hitting all the trees. Focus on the path. And that's how they get through all those trails at high speeds. You got to keep your eyes on what you want to focus on. Nasser Hussain at the moment is just looking to focus on the ball, on the bat, and score 22 more runs to get his side over the line. Again, changing the field, the Fort Lauderdale Lions. It's a slow over right now. Took a while to get this over started, and again, I think it just goes to the pressure of the game. All kinds of drama here in minor league cricket. Good delivery, cut straight to point, no run on offer. That's the length, that's the line he's going to want to operate at. Again, if you can just sneak some overs in before you get to Vinith Garce's overs. For the Fort Lauderdale Lions, are well in the contest. Can they take a wicket? Nasser Hussain is the prize one. He's the man on strike. He's your recognized bat, and just put a lot of pressure on the bowlers to come. Deep third, deep cover, long off, long on, deep mid-wicket. Cut behind point. We'll find a single. Thinking about two. Hussain wants it. Chance of a run out of the non-striker's end. He was always going to be home. He was always going to be home. Took off in a hurry. Wanted strike, and that's why he's gone. And I think the throw's got to go. Is that non-striker's end? Risky runs, but Nasser Hussain putting his hands up. And is your front runner for player of the match if the Fire were to win it. If it's going to be a Lightning win, a Lions win, it's going to be Ashley Nurse. There's no question about that. But if the Fire were to come away with the victory, Nasser Hussain would have to, you imagine, stick to the end. And he'd be my front runner for player of the match for guiding this innings home, taking some big wickets, but it's been good, this bowler. No, inside. Some drama here for Kevin Stout. Always looking. Anytime he pushes it outside the stumps, it's always a question now for everybody. We'll always look at the umpire. Is his arm going to rise? But just stay down. Since he's gotten the older ball, he's been much better. That's Kevin Stout. Tucked into the leg side. Emilio Ponzo on strike. And an opportunity now to choke hold the batters. Opportunity to get that wicket. It is the last ball of the over, so no run is going to happen here. They're not going to take it. You'd have to imagine. They're going to be happy. Just settle it down. Again, don't need to lose a wicket. Emilio Ponzo, I'm sure that's the word from Nasser Hussain. Just don't lose your wicket here. Do whatever you like to do. Just keep the ball down. Not one that's attacking the stumps. That'll close out the over. 10 stuff here at the Putnam Veers Cricket Complex. It's 80 for 7 after 14. Tense here at the Putnam Veers Cricket Complex, where the Atlanta Fire thought they had this win wrapped up and underway after that first innings, chasing just 99. They're 80 for 7 now, with 6 overs to spare. Where do they turn? Out of their main strike bowlers, out of Ashley Nurse, out of Isaiah Raja. Has to turn to some new faces with ball in hand, but we'll see what they have in offer. It's the youngster Adam Khan who they've gone with. The young leggy who was a member of the South Zone in the Under-19 Nationals this season. Has been a part of the Orlando Galaxy in years past. This year has made the trek over to the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Giving up one straight away. Now, Nasir Hussain has to watch on. Good delivery, but finding runs. I would just almost consider, if you're the Fort Lauderdale Lions, why not plug up covers? You don't have the runs to work with here, and yeah, they've gone to do it. Dare the batters to go across. I was even maybe considering bringing deep covers inside the ring. If they hit me over cover, they hit me over cover, but I don't want to give them ones. Make them work for the runs here. 17 left to get. Nasir Hussain, he's been the mainstay of the crease. 18 runs to his name. Stood in for 33 deliveries. Good delivery that from Adam Khan. Good flight. Got Nasir Hussain to commit to the front foot. Beats the outside edge. It's spun quite a long ways away. This is good. They're getting some quality overs now out of the other bowlers. Good delivery. Quicker through the air that time was Adam Khan. Might be young in age, but has plenty of experience bowling to a lot of highly talented individuals. And does not lack any confidence. We'll tell you that for Adam Khan. Always feels he can affect the game, and he's doing so right now with this quality over. One delivery left. Can he get the prize wicket? Left alone. It's good bowling, good turn, good bounce. Adam Khan's over comes to an end. The 15th over comes to an end. It's 82 for 7.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Well, not many people would have thought this game was going to go. It's past the 15th over. Just needing 99 runs, the Atlanta Fire, they've teetered into dangerous territory. As the new man has come into bowl, it's not going to be Kevin Stout, but they've gone in favor of spin, and spin in the form of Brian Gale, not known for what he does with the ball, primarily a bat, but a single straight away. Tucked into the leg side, another single, quick one. They get it, probably would have been close, had it been collected, but can't afford that if you're the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Have to collapse. If you're in the inner ring, there can't be a single there. Need some wickets, need a wicket, just 15 to get, 3 wickets in hand. Nasir Hussain got himself off strike. It's Emil Alponzo. Can they collapse the other end? The umpire just not happy with the way the stumps were lined up there. But here we go. Can Brian Gale do the trick? Finds the outer half of the bat. It's going to run through third man. They'll find one. 14 more to get now. Again, this game, no one would have thought would have been as tight as it is, but it's gone to that point. And it shows the excellent fight, the nature of these two sides, not backing down. Pushed into the leg side. We were talking about how the Fort Lauderdale Lions needed to get to 20 overs to give themselves some semblance of a chance to defend a total. That's what they did. They took wickets early. They gave up some extras. And for the Atlanta Fire, they didn't just fold when things got hard. Nasir Hussain has stuck it out. 19 from 38. Well defended from Emil Alponzo. Turned a long ways back. He was shaping up to run it down, but made the adjustment late. Keeps it away from his stumps. Game creeps closer and closer. 13 left to get. In the air. Who's going to get under it? No one will. No one will. It's gone away. And they'll just pick up one. That could have been the moment. Fort Lauderdale thought they had it. Hands on hips, hands on heads, bodies on the ground, because Emilio Alfonso survived. 12 runs left to get. 16 overs gone. 87 for 7.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Just 12 runs to go get. It's the youngster Adam Khan. Ball in hand. Will be turning it away from Emilio Alfonso. In the air again. In the gap again. Back-to-back deliveries where Emilio Alfonso survives. Seems like today's his day. This time a leading edge. But into the gap. We saw him try to sweep a top edge, land behind the keeper. Away from third man. Just a delivery ago. Unlucky, the Lions. Run through third man, nowhere to go. Packed that area of the ground. That's a good decision. A backward point and a wide third man inside the ring with a slip in place. Dangling play in front of square. This time, too long on. Picks up a single. When does the field start to come in? If you're the Fort Lauderdale Lions, when do you say, I'm okay, hit me for a boundary, but I'm not going to let you milk a single? Because now it's gone to just 10 runs. That's all that's left. Flied it up again, beats Emilio Alfonso. Outside end of the bat, but just runs out to wide third man. Again, just have to consider for me, why not bring in deep mid-wicket, deep backward square, jam sweep. Wide, and runs, and a lot of them. Ashley Nurse is banged up. And that's 3 off that delivery. Oh, they come for the third. They get the third. Yeah, they do. They do indeed. That's 4 runs off that ball. Adam Khan just getting a touch too full and a touch too wide. Again, Ashley Nurse, you could see it when he was batting, is not 100%. Something going on in the right leg of his. So hobbling along the ground. And Emilio Alfonso, it would have come back for a third. Nasir Hussain had the wits about him to come back for 3. Just 6 runs separate the Fire from the finish line. Again, there's always a single there. Why not plug that up? Why not bring deep mid-wicket in? Deep backward square in. Make them play the big shot. Don't gift them the single. Just 5 to get now. Emilio Alfonso is known for the 6 hitting. Does he try to finish in style? Will he just take his time, get the singles over the line? There you go, long on, being put inside the ring. I'd move the entire leg side inside the ring. Long on moves in, the ball goes out, and the Fire claim victory in a pulse-pounding finish at the Buttonviers Cricket Complex. Just falls into the slot of Emilio Alfonso and helps himself to 6 runs, and the Atlanta Fire escape what should have been an easy win. They get it in the end thanks to the smart batting of Nasir Hussain and Emilio Alfonso. Credit to the Fort Lauderdale Lions for making it a game after the Atlanta Fire started hot with the ball. But the Atlanta Fire were good enough. Get to 3 figures thanks to 22 from 42 for Nasir Hussain, my player of the match, and Emilio Alfonso, 16 from 18. With the ball in hand, Ashley Nurse was terrific. 4 overs, 16 runs, 3 wickets. Kevin Stout, 3 overs, 30 runs, 2 wickets. The extra's just too much. And Vinit Tagarse, 3 overs, 11 runs with 2 wickets. Also shout out to Isaiah Raja, 4 overs, 18 runs. Didn't get a wicket, but pressure. Fort Lauderdale Lions, they fought valiantly, but at the end of the day, they lit a fire. They win another game, and they move up the table. Didn't help their net run rate in the way they thought, but the fire, they're happy with the win. Thank you so much for joining us on this Labor Day weekend in minor league cricket. For myself, for our entire production crew, we thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. And your runs, just 95 left. Outside edge, has it carried a slip? I think it has. Yeah. Off to the races. Kennar Lewis has got to go. It's a good catch out there. It slips. In the air, could be taken. Yeah, there you go. Kevin Stout, after all of that, ends up delivering the wicket ball. Rishi Pandey bowled him, cleaned him up. Last one. The bat saves Aaron Jones. This time he gets through, and the middle pole's knocked down. In and scoring. Oh, get runs straight away. Looks like it'll be 4 of them over cover. Yeah. Not a good length. It was short. It was wide. It was always going to be punished. Legal delivery. He's been good. Cut away. Can't bowl there. Won't miss out. Will Zain Zayed will pick up 4. Again, short. Wide. Not well directed. Was always the extras. Down the leg side. No, given straight away. No hesitation. And Obis Bernard has to go. This is what he's done. Spinning the ball into the right-hander. Short, punished. Not the start Ashley Nurse would have wanted. And a welcome way for Zain Zayed to pick up a boundary. Short again. Into the leg side again. Bobble, taken. Good catch there. At backward square leg. We just talked about it. How Zayed could just get himself in trouble if he tried to continue to play that shot. Start things off to Jamar Hamilton. Cut really well. Flies off the bat and a race away to the boundary. Even through a thick outfield, there was no stopping that. Pressure right now on their batters. Flied it, hit straight. It's in the air. Fielder's coming underneath it. Taken. That time it's the captain, Tejnarayan Chandrapal, who takes the catch, and the 6th wicket falls. On the pad, big shout, given. He's off to the races, Ashley Nurse, and Cornet Dry has to go. And a leg slip. Straight down the ground, cries of catch it, Chandrapal there. It's going to be a question of a 6 or was he in the line? Cut behind point. We'll find a single. Thinking about 2. Hussain wants it. Chance to run out of the non-striker's end. He was always going to be home. Took off in a hurry. Wanted strike, and that's why he's gone. And I think the throw's got to go. Long gone moves in. The ball goes out, and the Fire claim victory in a pulse-pounding finish at the Padamveers Cricket Complex.
You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.